wait, that wasn't under pressure. Yeah, that was times like these. Ahoy hoy! I am Planner Walk, and welcome to just a casual hangout about anything. And we also have the casual Spaceman with us, but you can join if you want by joining the Discord, and link is in the description. So let me switch to. Wait, what the? Oh, there we go. Oh, ahoy hoy, Bullionator. It was.
Bull. The bull is in the chat.
It was times like these. I've got someone telling me that it wasn't times like these. Did I really play it that badly? Like, I'm pretty sure times like these has a chord progression of D, A minor, then A something, then E, and then E seventh, I think. Okay.
Something and something.
Yeah, like I don't know the name of every chord that I use. Sometimes I'll use an interesting chord and I'll be like, that's an interesting chord, I'm going to use that. Especially when you know how there's the note that makes a chord, especially guitar chords, that usually makes them major or minor. I usually like going one above the major. So that would be like... So that would essentially be, if I'm playing a major, A major here, that would be something like this. So if I... And it's usually used it's usually used well in combination with a minus, or in combination with a major or minor, so it's something like... Something like that. I really like doing that, but I don't know what those chords are.
I can't play the guitar to save my life, so I can't comment, really.
Isn't that a fourth chord? Maybe. I don't know. But it adds a nice kind of rhythm to it, so... I'm just going to close my door real quick. So... I don't know. It sounds really nice.
For some reason, Ugly German Truths has just commented bottoms. I don't know why.
I don't know. I still have vodka here, so maybe that's why. Bottoms up.
Who knows?
Yeah. You see, sometimes I'll have there was one time where my mum came over, right? And I had a bottle of vodka. And she was like, "Oh, are you alcoholic?" That bottle of vodka has not been finished. It's been sitting here for like a couple of months now. So
that wouldn't last very long in my household.
I can understand. I can understand that. I'm just glad that I'm not always forced to interact with crazy people, because that would probably mean that I'd have to go through a lot more vodka.
Well, don't you interact with crazy people quite a lot?
Yeah, but it's... So the only time I really have to interact with crazy people is during my live streams. Oh, yeah, every second week, roughly. Sometimes a little more than that. So when it's only once a fortnight, it's pretty... You can handle it,
Mind you, your recent stream with Right the Hand, and then the videos that followed back and forth after that must have damaged a few brain cells.
Oh, definitely. Well, I've still got like, I've got one video left on Right the Hand, right? And that I'm going to make sure that I get... I'm waiting a little bit just so I get everything, because I'm basically going to go through a whole lot of screenshots, right, to show pretty much that he can't be trusted. You know, even whether you think that he's a troll, whether you think that he's being legitimate, you can't trust someone that flip-flops on what they apparently believe.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. Yeah, and he does flip-flop all the time. Well, that's the thing. He's not, you know, I don't know if you call that, it's not intellectually dishonest, I suppose, is it? I don't know what you call that. It's just, I don't know, it's just dishonest. Exactly what you say. He's not honest about what he believes.
Yeah, like, if someone says multiple times, right, that they were just pretending to be a flat earther, it's like, okay, I can't trust you when you say anything about flat earth, but if you're still, even after coming out and saying, oh, I'm not actually a flat earther, you're still pushing flat earth stuff, right, then, yeah, then, you know, it's, well, how can I believe that you're not a flat earther?
True.
You know, it's one of them things where you cannot actually believe someone, or you cannot trust someone that doesn't make it clear as to what their position is. But on,
well, I think right hand definitely fits that. Probably, I think the problem with right hand is that he's so fervently religious based in his beliefs. That I think sometimes his religion actually gets him kind of away from the scientific side of flat Earth, and I think he forgets what he actually believes in that regard. He's probably quite firm in what he believes in his religion, but when it comes to sort of anything like flat Earth or even the semantic arguments around that, he forgets himself.
Yeah, like, when it comes to a lot of people, I don't like when their beliefs are religious, right? I prefer to have if I'm going to have a discussion with someone, I prefer it to be grounded in some kind of logic. Like, if I'm discussing the shape of the Earth with you, I'd rather it be based on the actual what I can go out and demonstrate, right? And I want other people's beliefs to be based on what they can demonstrate as well. So there's no point asking someone to demonstrate something when you can't demonstrate that yourself.
Yeah, I mean, mind you, it depends on what you mean by demonstrate, because he's always banging on about demonstrating water spinning on a ball. Well, that's going to be impossible while you're sitting on the Earth as it is, right? Unless you've got an anti-gravity machine. He was talking to me about demonstrating orbits or orbital mechanics. Well, actually, I can demonstrate that, but I can't actually do it in reality. The only option that I've got is something like Kerbal Space Program. That's a demonstration, not proof, but it's a demonstration. But he wants the actual physical demonstration. So what he's actually doing, and he knows this, because he's not that dumb. He knows that we can't demonstrate it. But what he's arguing is that, if you can't demonstrate it on Earth here now, therefore it doesn't exist. Yeah, that's basically the substance of his argument, and that he's always talking about demonstrating anything that's kind of impossible because he knows we can't.
Yeah, like if I actually wonder if somebody has responded to me. Let me check on one of my multiple tabs if this person is. No, they haven't responded to me. Essentially, yesterday I saw someone post a meme on Facebook, and what they posted was, the only thing NASA has ever sent into space is your imagination, right? And so I said, well, no, I disagree. I've looked into this. NASA sends quite a bit into space, and and they responded with, I don't know, I've never gone with them to confirm it, and if you look at the evidence, it's plain it was all fake. Not to mention, they went through this and that and next thing, and so I was like, okay, laser light can be bounced off the moon due to retroreflectors that were left there during the moon landings. The ISS has been verified by multiple people, and NASA has possibly saved humans from extinction, or at least delayed human extinction. Right?
Okay.
And they responded with showing a picture of the Saturn V rocket, and they had it in the wrong order. But yeah, the Saturn V rocket. Then they showed the lunar lander, and then they showed the command module. And they said, "How did this turn into this, and then back into this?" And it's like, it didn't.
Well, that's just down to ignorance or lack of knowledge. Really, that's what it boils down to. And and a lot of people that are particularly argue on Facebook about this kind of stuff, really just lack a whole lot of knowledge. Really just the basics of the stuff.
Yeah, what I'll do is there's one person that I'm friends with on Facebook that I'll often just say, "Hey, look, what you're saying is wrong. There's no such thing as chemtrails." But they'll say, "Oh, they've admitted to chemtrailing everyone." And I'm like, okay, show me the evidence. Where do they admit to chemtrailing everyone? And
the thing is, what you got to be careful of. I mean, it's not that there's no such thing as chemtrails, because airplanes have sprayed things. Reasons. It's not that they don't exist. It's just that their theory is that we're being sprayed all the time, and all the contrails that we see in the sky are chemtrails, which isn't true. So I'd be really careful about saying there's no such thing as chemtrails. Because chemtrails do exist.
Yeah, well, when they said chemtrails, well, one of the things that they said is they said, chemtrails are being they've admitted to spraying chemtrails over everyone, right? And I'm like, okay, where's this evidence?
Citation needed.
And what they said. Okay, apparently there's why is my internet going to shit? But yeah, what they said, right, is they said that I'm just trying to think. So essentially what they said is they said that these geoengineering things is chemtrails. So I'm just trying to remember the exact one. This solar management.
Geoengineering is a thing, but just not even anywhere near or even close to the scale that they're actually talking about, because NASA and some other organizations around the world have actually looked at how clouds are formed, or whether we can actually form clouds or change weather patterns and all the rest of it. It is a thing.
Yeah, well,
but it's something that's under development. But there's certainly nothing along the lines of like spraying our atmosphere to control our minds, that kind of stuff. And that's nonsense.
Yeah, well,
so what they've done in that case, they've just taken what they know and they've blown it out of proportion.
Yeah, like if you're going to try and change the weather, you do things like cloud seeding, right? Like they did in Vietnam. Yeah. So
Agent Orange during Vietnam is another thing. They sprayed the forests along the Ho Chi Minh Trail.
But when it comes to these chemtrails that these people are banging on about, one of them thought that it was, I think, solar management or something. It's essentially where we spray aerosols high up in the atmosphere to bounce radiation or to bounce heat back into space. To basically, it raises. I think I need to be careful when I say this because I can't remember if it's raising or lowering the albedo of the planet.
All right, yeah, no, I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, but here's the real kicker, right? I went and looked into this because, as always, I don't just go, this is something that's happening, so therefore chemtrails, No logical, well, I'd hope no logical person would do that. And so I looked into it, and it's like, well, actually, how high do you think that they're putting these supposed chemtrails? And I just realized something, actually. I realized that we're in the wrong chat. So if we can switch to stream chat, you okay with that?
Stream. What is it? A voice thing?
Yeah, it's a voice chat. I'll just drag you over.
All right.
Yeah.
Ah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, we were in stream debate, and I realised that no one can actually join if we're in stream debate.
Oh, I thought that's where it was going to be. It's yeah.
Yeah, well, when Discord, when I open up OBS onto a particular thing, immediately goes to, I think, whatever the last chat I used was.
All right.
And I'll just have to bring this up here, so that should be...
So anyway, so what were you saying? You're talking about chemtrails, so what were you saying the last thing?
So, yeah, they were... The height of the height that they're proposing for the aerosols, right, is 20 kilometers high. Now, if that was admitting to them spraying chemtrails, how high do planes actually fly?
How high did you say that these sprays were going on? Did you say?
Well, they would be 20 kilometers high.
Kilometers. What's that in feet? Hold on.
I think it's something like...
Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Ahoy hoy.
Ahoy hoy. Jose.
Ahoy hoy. What's up?
Not a lot yourself.
Right, that's 65,000 feet. I mean, that's not impossible. But commercial airlines would not be flying at that kind of height.
Yeah.
Military aircraft, possibly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they would be sort of like the top range military aircraft. I mean, that's very, very...
Yeah, like Hugh Jars put in the chat, planes fly at a max of 12 kilometers.
Yeah, I mean, it's you get commercial airlines cruising heights usually somewhere sort of 35 to 45,000 feet. Military aircraft probably, I mean, you can get the spy plane apparently can go up to 80, 90,000 feet.
But then you've got...
which is well above 65,000.
Then you've also got to think of what kind of payload it would have. So if you've got a particular payload, to put it 20 kilometers high, having a huge payload, that takes a lot more than if you're in a spy plane.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, yeah, you're talking about a lot of weight, but if you're going to spray a chemical, there's some chemicals, if you're gonna spray people with it, you probably wouldn't need that much, to be fair.
Well, the higher up you go, the more that it would probably disperse when it comes down into the atmosphere.
Well, this is it. I mean, if you... Right, here's the thing, right? As well, that I've always said about chemtrails, right? People know the difference between chemtrails and contrails, right?
Yep.
Is if you're going to spray something, it would need to actually dissipate quite quickly. In other words, it would need to actually get down to Earth. So the water droplets compared to, say, the water droplets of a cloud would be much heavier, right?
Yeah.
So you look at contrails, they stay up in the sky there for quite a considerable amount of time.
Yeah.
So why would that be? Why would they, this is what gets me. Why would that be staying up in this atmosphere where you'd want it to actually get down to Earth if you're going to be spraying people? Well, that's the thing. Like I said, I mean, like Jose's already said it in the chat there, is that, there are chemtrails. Yeah, they do exist. Military have sprayed all sorts of different things for all sorts of different reasons and, things like that. But, it's not to say that it doesn't exist, but... 99.99999% of the contrails that we see in the sky, well, all the contrails in the sky that we've seen because they're contrails, are not chemtrails.
Yeah.
No, they're just not. Yeah.
And one of the interesting things that you brought up there is that a lot of people that believe that chemtrails are being sprayed over us all the time actually say that the fact that contrails last a long time is evidence that they're chemtrails. So that's kind of a... It's kind of a self-defeating thing, isn't it? To them.
Yeah, they're not really thinking it through properly. And that's just an easy. You see, because contrails are formed, there has to be a very specific atmospheric conditions for contrails to exist. There has to be the right air pressure. There has to be the right humidity. The aircraft has to be moving at the right kind of speed. There has to be the right air pressure around the wings where they actually form. All sorts of different factors come into play to produce them. So sometimes those factors come into play, and that's why you get these contrails.
Yeah.
That's why on certain days you'll see lots of contrails, and other days you won't see any, because the right sort of temperatures, atmospheric conditions, and pressures and all that kind of thing are not there at those particular cruising altitudes. That's all it is. And then also, if you look, I can guarantee as well, if you look, people that have taken pictures of these contrails in particular areas where there's quite a lot of them, I can almost guarantee you that would be along a particular flight path, and it will coincide exactly where there's commercial airliners is going along a particular flight path. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
If you look into it.
One of the things
I think the misconception is when some guys claim, oh, there are contrails and they spraying us, then they make the claim. The people that are aware that there are contrails because they have seen documents and some documentaries about there are some planes for X or Y reason spray some chemicals in the sky, but then they make the claim it's negative and this is why they are spraying it, and then they put all these connotations about it's all about shortening their lifespan or putting dumb us down or kill our brains, and so a bunch of BS that really they have nothing to back up their claims.
Yeah,
no, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, because it is one of them things where it's like, okay, so why would they be spraying chemtrails over everyone? What is the point? And quite often they'll say exactly as you said, oh, it's to dumb us down or it's to control our mind, and it's like, okay, why would they be trying to do that? What is?
Well, I mean, I don't think that's necessarily a question against, like, an argument against it. It's more the kind of like what you've got to look at is kind of, well, how are they doing it and the evidence behind it? Because they can say, okay, they're fine, they're chemtrails. I say, okay, fine, they're chemtrails, right? Now prove to me that there's chemicals that are landing on us. Like, it could be quite easy. You could buy equipment that can measure all sorts of different chemicals that are falling on you from the atmosphere. You could quite easily. So if you suddenly started seeing these supposed chemtrails, if you had the right equipment, you could detect these. But nobody's come up with that kind of evidence ever at any point that I know of, at least anywhere. Maybe somebody has somewhere. I don't really know. But
when I was back in the day, over a year ago, when I was in the flat earth side, right? I heard and I seen videos. I used to follow a lady, a content creator that I don't even remember who. And she said, oh, I gathered a bunch of samples from the top of the soil on a farm that used to live. And there was an open well, and she used to grab samples when she saw the trails going by, the chemtrails in quotes, And she took it to labs, and they gave her a bunch of results that they were this chemical and that chemical. But there was, I saw it and I was compelled, like, holy cow, something is going on. There are really chemicals, but I never questioned, like, how do I know, what the samples that she is giving, where do they come from? Who gave her the results? What does they mean? I didn't ask these questions, and I haven't researched it again. I just hear both sides as for right now, but I haven't seen that done as for giving samples of the soil or water where these chemtrails go by, and it's chemicals, bad chemicals on them.
Well, that's it, Jose. I mean, like as soon as you said that it was a farm, right? I mean, to me, straight away, you say, well, hang on a minute. In a lot of farms, they use chemicals. Not on all farms, but in a lot of farms they do that. But like you said as well, it's kind of like, there's too many people will just believe what people will say, particularly on social media, but without actually doing the research and thinking it through themselves. And this is part of the problem where a lot of conspiracies are coming from, because people are willing to believe what anybody says without kind of thinking about it and without actually researching properly and asking the right questions and building a picture and filling in the blanks.
Because it kind of fit inside the narrative that one wants to believe, and they say, oh, this sounds about right. I'm gonna believe this person versus I'm not gonna listen to the other point of view. They want to fit their narrative and they want to fill the holes with the person that is making them hear what they want to hear, And
Well,
the questions are not asked,
Well, it's confirmation bias, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
When it comes to a lot of people, and this goes for both sides of any argument. A lot of times, one side will make a good point, and the other side just won't listen because it doesn't fit their narrative, or they'll come up with a different excuse. And I'm not going to sit here and say that the one side is completely insusceptible to confirmation bias, because that's untrue. Both sides are susceptible to confirmation bias. It's just that one side is probably more right than the other side.
Yeah. Well, this is it. That's the thing. It's kind of trying to prove, who actually is right. But yeah, I mean, the way I kind of see it is kind of a lot of debates. I mean, if you think about all the debates we have of flat Earth or any other conspiracy and all the rest of it, really, what it's about is actually trying to discredit the other person. That's what it boils down to, really. So a lot of extent, sometimes I think to myself, well, what's the point in going into any debate? Is because that's what it boils down. Because at the end of the day, you're not gonna persuade the other person to change their mind. But what it really is for, and what what's really important is who's actually listening.
Yeah.
I always.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go on, Jose.
Yeah, and hear me this quick point, right? Let's say I was in the other side. Let's say I was a chemtrail believer, and this is damaging. If I wanted to talk in favor of there is chemtrails and they are bad, I would say probably the same thing, because I heard a lot of flat earthers doing the argument. Oh, I seen some lady, she did some tests and it came out positive for a bunch of chemicals. But am I going to have evidence to back up the claim or stand by whatever that person say? I wouldn't have any details, and that's what happens a lot with flat earth proponents, that they make these claims because they heard it from somebody. They don't know who say it, and they don't have any evidence or details, but they still propose the idea because they heard it. It's a little mind-numbing for me.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what Planet was saying. It's confirmation bias, but I mean, it's kind of sad because I was brought up in such a way as to kind of question everything, but then I was always taught to answer the right questions and also to find things out for myself. So I in a lot of ways I'm kind of a skeptic, but what I've always tended to do throughout my life, I never really trust a stranger that are telling me, and I've always been brought up to do that. Don't trust any stranger what they tell you. If they tell you something, they go and find out from somewhere else as well to confirm it. And that's just the way I was brought up. So this is, but I mean, I had an interest from a very early age in in Apollo and the moon landings and stuff like that. So this is where my kind of interest in all this kind of comes from, and why I've sort of taken one side, because I will always side with the side that's got the most evidence that can actually prove something. And for me, it's not because I'm a NASA fanboy and I doggedly believe in it because I'm just a fan of NASA. It's got nothing to do with it. If somebody can actually probably. If somebody no, seriously though, if somebody could actually really prove to me that the moon landings didn't happen with some real solid evidence, I will believe it. Trust me, I will. I just will. But nobody has been able to come to me and provide something like that. So I've always believed in evidence as proving what I'm going to believe or not.
So I used to think that the moon landings were a hoax, right? I think it was as recent as 2016, I believed that at least the first moon landing, right? I believed that was a hoax. But then
So what changed your mind then?
So the first sort of thing and it didn't happen overnight, right? The first thing that made me kind of question whether they actually were a hoax was the Mythbusters episode that they did, where they showed that the flag could actually wave. Because I was thinking, this the Mythbusters thing is going to put the nail in the coffin, and the truth will be out. And then it's like, oh, okay. And then, 2016 was when I kind of started hearing about all this flat Earth stuff, right? Because I actually remember the last time I actually probably thought about whether the moon landing was... the last time I think I seriously considered that the moon landing was faked was when I was talking to a flat earther in real life. And that's... and they were like...
I have an interesting opinion about the moon landings whenever you give me a shit.
Yeah. Well, when it came to this flat earther, they said, oh, do you believe in the moon landings? And so I said, well, I believe that some of them were real, but I don't believe that the first one was... I don't believe that the first one was real. And so it's like, oh, what do you believe? They seem to tie in their other conspiracies to their conspiracies for some reason.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
But
it's all about finding things out, but not from one particular source. It's not just sort of, like I said before, believing one particular person. It's all about... I mean, I've read an awful lot of books on the subject, a hell of a lot of books, and all the evidence within those books that I read about the Apollo missions and all the rest of it, and I read about the astronauts from pretty much Apollo 11 and 12 and 13, and every piece of evidence would be very, very, very difficult for anybody to debunk. But I've used this analogy before, and I think you probably all heard it about my jigsaw puzzle analogy about the truth. You probably heard that before. I don't know.
I might have.
But yeah, right. Say, just imagine that the truth is, say, a 50,000 piece jigsaw puzzle, right?
Yep.
What a lot of conspiracy theorists will actually do is they'll go to this 50,000 piece jigsaw puzzle. They'll take a piece out, which is a piece of information that doesn't look right. Then they might take out a few more, and they might get, say, 50 pieces. Okay, so 50 pieces of information, 50 pieces of their jigsaw puzzle. Okay, but if you still look at it, it still looks like the truth. Okay, because you're talking about 50,000 piece jigsaw puzzle, giant jigsaw puzzle from 50 pieces. Okay, so what they tend to do is then use those 50 pieces that they've got and try and build it into a bigger picture, and it doesn't work. And the way I always tell people is what you need to do is look at the bigger picture, look at the whole thing. Okay, and then what you'll find is that it still looks like what it's supposed to be, the truth, the reality.
Yeah.
And you can't just take a few pieces and expect that can't be true then. No, it doesn't work like that. Quite often as well, all those 50 pieces that they've taken out as well is kind of like, it just isn't true. What you just need to do is you just need to look into it and research it, and look at lots of different sources, and then decide for yourself, not just listen to one person telling you that these 50 pieces makes it a lie, because it's just reality. It just isn't.
Yeah, it's kind of like a lot of movements, and even some movements that are rooted in truth, but a lot of movements that are based on conspiracies, except maybe with a few exceptions. Probably I'd say the exceptions would be chemtrails, because they're actually making a positive claim that chemtrails are being sprayed on everyone. But most movements, I find it's trying to discredit the other side. So moon landings, it's trying to discredit the moon landings. It's with flat earthers, it's especially prolific. They're trying to discredit the globe. And even when you get into politics, like when it comes to conservatives, they're trying to discredit liberals, and often liberals will try and discredit conservatives, and sometimes it's... Actually, here's a big one. Here's a really big one. What people will do, and I've found this a lot, is they'll say, universal healthcare, that's socialism. It's like, okay, so why is it bad? Like, why? First off, how are you making the leap from universal healthcare to socialism? And why don't we just implement the good parts of socialism? Why, and leave all the bad parts out?
The thing about
hear me out. Hear me out. Well, let me comment on the moon landings before we move to the next one.
Yeah.
Moon landings, right? When I was younger and I was growing up, I didn't have access to cell phones or internet until I was in over 20 years old, right?
Yeah.
So what I heard, what I seen, I saw all the conspiracies, and I was 50-50. I said, like, yeah, maybe they're fake, maybe they're not. I didn't have a big opinion on it, but I think it was the first conspiracy ever that I looked into since I was a little kid, right? I didn't have experience of my parents or my grandparents never talked about it. So it was just me listening and watching news and documentaries, right? When I came to Flat Earth on early 2017, maybe a month after I started researching, I was 100% convinced that the moon landings did not happen, that it was all fake or a hoax 100%. And I used to go neck to neck with anybody in the Discords and private hangouts and calls about the moon landings are fake. I used to give my life for it. Now, when I came back to the globe, that I made my big realization, now I am back to my roots because I'm still not 100% convinced. I think I'm back to 50-50%. And I tell you why. As I say, I never had somebody close to me, to my family or my friend circle, that witnessed the moon landings in TV or had a close experience. Nobody worked near anybody. So what I know is secondhand information. And until I personally, now an adult, witness moon landings take place, as for Americans, good footage, good video with a lot of data, I'm not going to be able to believe it 100%. Now, is there more weight that they happened that they didn't? Yes, because all the points that the flat earthers and the moon landing deniers propose, it's all been debunked. And I'm happy with the debunks, but still, I haven't witnessed it personally as for seeing it myself. If you know where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from.
I know exactly where you're coming from, Jose. Believe me. I mean, I can kind of understand moon hoaxers probably more than I can understand flat earthers. I get it because I understand that people have a mistrust for NASA. I get that. I can never actually say that NASA is totally free from any government influence, because that's not true, because they are publicly funded organization, although they're officially a civilian organization. I don't trust governments. I don't trust governments on a lot of things they tell me. They tell lies all the time. Not with everything, but sometimes governments have to tell lies to protect the people. It's just that's the fortunate nature of governments. So I get it. I really do understand it. But what I will always say to people is, like I've already just said, is go and read a lot about it. That's all I'm saying, is that I'm not going to try and sit in here and convince you, Jose, that the moon landings happened. I don't, that's a discussion for another time. But all I say is that, look at all the sides, but look at the moon landings and read a lot of books, because there's a lot of authors out there that have that talk about it in their books and articles and all kinds of different things. Have nothing to do with NASA, absolutely nothing, and it's just their own take on it. And then when you read enough books, you begin to build up a picture. I've also looked through a lot of books. Well, not a lot. Some books, because there's not that many out there about about moon hoaxes. And also I've seen an awful lot of videos about it. And again, I'm just not convinced of their argument, because they're not looking at the bigger picture of things. That all they're doing is cherry picking little bits of information that don't look right. And I can tell you one thing though, that all the little bits of hoaxes, like the waving flag, the wet flag, the footprints, and all the rest of it, they've been debunked time and time over. I've seen them dozens and dozens, hundreds of times, and I've probably heard of them all.
I want to do a quick read in this quick message from Still Closer in the chat. I think he didn't hear me, what I was just saying about the moon landings, because he typed, Jose went from "we've been lied to" "oh, I believe anything the mainstream media says, even if it doesn't make any sense." I think you were just typing that as I was speaking, because I explained myself well, that I just don't believe everything. I'm still 50-50, so get your comments and the thoughts straight.
Yeah, you're skeptical. You're skeptical. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's actually this. You know, I knew you were skeptical anyway, Jose, because I heard you mention it before, and that's actually one of the reasons why I suggested perhaps with you when you've reset your show that you can maybe start with that, and then maybe we can have a conversation about it. Perhaps I don't know.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, I want to go. There's a few things about the moon landings that I'm sure I'm going to do a few specials.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be really chuffed to be part of that if you want to be, because it's my kind of stuff. So, but yeah, no, I get people's skepticism. I really, really do. I don't get the people that are absolutely fervent that
in denial. Questioning is good. I always say questioning is good. Please question everything, 100%. But just denial and the denial mode, that's really not healthy whatsoever.
Like no, you're not that kind of guy. I don't think you're quite open-minded, which is always a good thing. So,
one of the interesting things that one of the conspiracies I used to believe, right, was 9/11. That 9/11 was an inside job, right? And so essentially, when I was believing that 9/11 was an inside job, I think a lot of the evidence that I had was really weak, and there is a bit of evidence that I can't really explain, but the reason for that is I'm not an engineer. You know?
Yeah.
I can't explain why there's a whole lot of engineers that are saying that it's an inside job. You know, because I'm not an engineer myself. Maybe there's an engineer out there that can explain that. You know? And
one MD's staying very quiet. One MD's in the chat here, but he's staying very quiet.
I'm here.
You're just listening. You're just listening.
But these days I'm more, or most of the evidence that I can actually understand doesn't really, and I think that's actually an interesting point, right? I think that's a really interesting point to make. I mean, if I were to believe that 9/11 was an inside job due to evidence that I can't actually understand, is that really good evidence to believe that that 9/11 was an inside job? I don't think so.
No. Well, the thing about 9/11, but it being a hoax and it being an inside job, is ignoring the evidence, okay, ignoring the reasons why that people think it's a hoax, right? Let's just put that aside for the moment.
A disclaimer before you continue. I'm gonna stay quiet on this one because I don't believe anything we're told about 9/11. I think it's a total hoax, so I'm gonna stay out.
Yeah, that's okay. No, that's fine. We can have a general discussion about it. It's all right. Is that it's not impossible. You know what I mean? But then when you look at the actual evidence itself and how they say it's being done, that's when it kind of all falls apart for me. So I can understand why, again, that's another one. I can understand why people would think that there was some sort of hoax around it. But it's just the evidence just isn't strong enough to support it. That's just where it kind of all falls apart for me. So
actually, there's a difference between hoax and false flag. I don't know which one is the category because many of the things, I mean, that there was a big event that took place. There was a lot of fatalities. Yes. But as for the story, the narrative that we are told, the details on what happened, that's what I don't agree with. But I'm just there.
Yeah, it's a dangerous subject. I'm not really comfortable with talking about it because of the amount of people that died, and it's and to a certain extent, it is kind of disrespectful. So I don't feel comfortable talking about it. So that's why I don't really want to go into any Greek detail about it. I certainly don't believe that 9/11 was an inside job. But then again, like I said, I can understand why people would fall for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's dangerous kind of territory you get into talking about that stuff anyway.
I find that this is an interesting thing about conspiracies, is that quite often a lot of people see, there's so many people that say this is true, and so that's how it gains traction. And because no one is debunking it, because, I mean, why would you debunk something, that that you haven't heard of? Or because, when it comes to something like Flat Earth, how long did that go undebunked? It probably went undebunked for probably a year before people started catching on to people saying, hey, this is an actual conspiracy. And so a lot of that kind of feeds into people going, well, people aren't debunking it, so therefore this must be true. And I think that's a large case for why people believe in 9/11 moon landings and stuff like that.
Flat Earth's different thing altogether, because it's not a new thing. Obviously thousands of years ago, around before the time of Aristotle and all the rest of it, is that it was the general consensus that the Earth was flat. So it's always been around, because you've always had people throughout history that probably have believed it.
And the big resurgence was when, in the time of Samuel Rowbotham. Now, there was no the technology that we have today was not available, because maybe it would what is happening now for the past 5 years, it would happen by the time of Rowbotham. Now the technology wasn't there to spread, the news and the ideas more broad.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. In terms of the modern resurgence, that's completely different. But I think throughout history, you've probably always had a group of people somewhere in the world. They might have been very, very quiet and underground, but I think there's probably flat Earth has always been around, always, and it probably will never actually go away. Really, I don't think it probably will die a death and it will go underground again, probably eventually. But I can't see it quite dead yet. It's probably fading at the moment, but it's certainly not dead. It's most definitely not dead, because there's still a lot of people out there who do believe it. Not enough to be a massive problem yet, but we got certainly got to be kept an eye on for sure.
Like when it comes to flat Earth dying, I think that people are mostly losing interest in the meme, right? And I think that's a big part of it, because memes, as much as people like to think that memes are just funny pictures, right? And to an extent, there are quite a few memes that are funny pictures. But when it comes to the idea of a meme, like Richard Dawkins actually put it in his book, The Selfish Gene, right? When people lose interest in the meme, it's kind of it's kind of leads to the death, really, in a way. It's like, who posts lost memes anymore? I'm pretty sure there's still a few people that do, but you don't really see it around as often as it used to be.
Yeah, it's your diehard fandom that will still go that route when it comes to the TV show. But as for the flat Earth topic, part of it that is killing it is the fact that all of the talking points are on their third, fourth, and fifth retread.
Yeah.
Hi, Jared.
Ahoy, hoy, Jared.
Howdy. No, sorry, I heard someone else piping in at the same time. I was giving them a chance to speak.
No, I was just saying, hey, Jared. That was it. That's all I wanted to say.
Hey, Jared.
Yeah, but that's the thing that a lot of the pro-flat Earth side doesn't realize, is that the counters to the points they are still making are still out there, and you have content creators who aren't addressing them because they all already addressed the point. Why are you going to make the same video 3-4 times over?
Yeah, well, that's it. It's the same with the moon landings. There's not really been anything different since the 80s, really. It's the same thing. I haven't been around in this community for very long, but already I'm seeing the same issues brought up 2 or 3 times before.
Yeah,
and it's just getting kind of dreary. Like you said, I think people are just starting to lose.
I think what's a little bit left is not for most of the people, but for some of the flat earthers, is optics and do their own observations, because there are millions of places that you can go and do observations and repeat it in different conditions and different this and that, different magnifications or zoom. But that's about it. All they can do is claim that, oh, this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at whatever perspective, magnification, the angle of this and that. And one of the other 100 excuses is what's left to do for flat Earth. That's from my point of view, because everything else is already being explained over and over and over. And all the data and all the information for them to learn and verify themselves how everything works is out there. The only thing that they are actually doing, some of them, is actual physical observations, going out there and doing their own footage and their own pictures. Now the interpretation part is where the tricky part comes in. So there's a little bit of talk points and discussions about optics, but everything is already being explained and everything is documented. So they just have to build a new explanation and alternative for everything. That's what I give him. So build your alternative and present it in a concise way that we can grasp it and understand it. Don't say it might be this, it might be that. Just commit to it and tell us this is what's happening and this is.
Well, Jose, you were seeing when you said that you're not in the Flat Earth camp anymore, and it was with a lighthouse, I believe. That was
one of them. Yep.
And I saw, I think it was Nathan Oakley and co. were afterwards were going, well, that's just compression or something like that, and it's, you know, even though it was really good proof of a globe, they were denying that it was proof of a globe.
Yeah, I know. It's interesting, that one, because last week I went to The Plain Truth. Is Travis is one of the flat earthers, always jumping in my chat or whatever. He's a decent guy. He knows a lot about religion and he does a lot of observations. So kudos to him. He goes out there pretty much every day. And I talk, and we broke it down. I said, like, what do you think about this lighthouse? He said, oh, I already told you this. And we went like half an hour on it. And I was laughing because, I mean, they claim, oh, it's magnification. Don't you see this? You cannot use a control image of the lighthouse to do a blink test on what you are seeing on the screen. I say, but I mean, the beautiful thing about this lighthouse, it has some stripes, so different colors. So it's not that it's been stretched or compressed. It's a solid, nice little piece of evidence that just points to the globe. And it's interesting when I see them trying to break this one of my own little ones down. So it's just interesting. It's mind blowing to me.
One of the things that I really had trouble understanding, right? And I still don't know what they were getting at. So, when it came to the angle of attack kind of thing, to start off with, I was having real trouble on trying to figure out what they were meaning, because they're saying, oh, it's due to diffraction. You know, at a certain point, certain parts become small enough that you can't resolve it. I'm like, okay, I don't think that works how you are thinking that it works. It doesn't mean that if I have something that's the same angular size, right, as if half an object is the same angular size as another half of the object, half of the object won't simply disappear. It will just appear to be indistinguishable from the other half. If
I was in that camp on the angle of attack thing. I was very active in the Oakley show back then when that happened, maybe a year ago or so. And I did. You still look for angle of attack on YouTube, and you find my name. Oakley still features one of my videos on the supermarket floor as how things disappear from the bottom up on a flat surface. But I have debunked that myself when I repeated that from 4 different angles, uncut, in the same supermarket, and in various of the spots I did the observation, the light did not disappear. It had to do with little bumps in the floor. It was a lot of imperfections. You see it big time, a lot of little bumps and humps. And then there's a little declination in those supermarkets where they got the drainage thing. So I debunked that myself, and you still look for the angle of attack and you find me featured in those channels. When, dude, I did the observation and I debunked it myself. How are you still featuring it? That's not genuine for them.
Wait, so you're telling me that you actually repeated your experiment to see if it was valid?
And I invalidated it.
Because I find that is something that a lot of flat earthers don't do. You know, they'll do an experiment once, and then people will say, "Hey, look, you know," especially with Nathan Oakley's angle of attack experiment, that was bad. Oh my god!
I mean, Ranty himself debunked it like a day or 2 later.
Yeah,
it's called keeping an open mind. Basically, is that, I mean, you see, a lot of flat earthers would do these experiments, but they will totally ignore the evidence. You know, a classic example is Bob Noodle, or Bob Nodell, sorry, is his proper title. You know, is on the video behind the curve is the the laser gyroscope that spent $20,000. They found a 15 degree per hour drift. Oh, surprise, surprise! But of course, we're not going to accept that, quote unquote. And that's just classic, I think, unfortunately, of a lot of flat earthers. They're not willing to accept the evidence, so they'll keep going and keep going until they find something that fits their narrative. And that's just dogged, just not stupidity. Sorry, it's just stubbornness. That's what it is.
Yeah. Oh, and the reason that he came up for after was, to me, laughable. The heavenly energies. And by the way, we should mention something from the chat. Gary Wybanga is actually starting to lose grip of that Poe cover. Reasons things are obscured bottom first. Angle of view of the observer. 2, surface topography. Gary, that would be curvature. Thanks for finally admitting it, Gary.
I mean, we take into account topography. That's like he said. You guys always forget topography in combination with angle of view, and it's like, well, we take into account topography the most.
Methinks maybe that he probably doesn't understand exactly what topography actually means. Perhaps it would be my.
Probably. I mean, when you're looking over
one of the.
You go ahead.
In the past a few months, when Ranty Flat Earth was talking about his observations on why things appear to disappear from the bottom up, he was mentioning a lot like you have to know the topography under the sea, under the body of water you're looking at. And I was always scratching my head like, what the hell? So what do you mean? Because if under the water, the topography, what does that have to do? The water is going to lay level in the top. You're not going to have a hump because you got a mountain on the water. So I always scratch my head, and he doubled down on that so many times. He was.
Hold on. I thought water always found its level. All of a sudden, underneath the water is a problem. Wow.
Dude, you can visit one of the previous Ranty chat, and he said, like, when I was doing this observation, you have to take in consideration the topography under the body of water. And I was like, what the hell are you talking about, Ranty? It's crazy.
To nitpick as well, it's bathymetry when it's under the water.
What?
It's topography above the ground, or above the water. It's bathymetry under the water.
I'll be back in about half an hour. You'll still be on. I'm running away now. I'm going to rage quit. No, I'm kidding. I'll be back soon.
Spaceman off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be maybe 10 or 15 minutes. I got to run.
Hosey's a pussycat. Jose's a pussycat.
I'm all right.
Meow.
I forgot to throw a disclaimer when I join and start talking, because I think it's the first time that I talk to you, Planet Walk, and people in the chat. Maybe the second time. But disclaimer, my English is not very good looking, so if you don't understand what I'm saying, let me try to rephrase it in a different way. I still drag my Spanish accent along with me all the time.
Planet Walk, I'll just nip back in again. I've just realised that you're buffering on your stream.
Yeah, what I'll do real quick, right? And this is probably not going to get heard by anyone watching the stream. It'll probably only be heard by us. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop streaming, and then I'm going to restart the stream so that it catches up. And so that,
I believe in you.
Yeah. So, all right. Hopefully some of that has gone through by now, so that people know what's going to happen. Because otherwise, it's going to be awkward. All right. Start streaming again. That way and I just noticed we have Booleanator with us.
Hey guys, how are you guys doing?
I'm doing good. Yourself?
Pretty good, Planet Walk.
One of the things that I'm actually probably going to bring up in a future video is a moment that I think Booleanator was responsible for.
Really?
Back in the days of non-sec, there was a debate between Write the Hand and MCToon.
Oh, the one I kicked out, yeah.
Yeah. I'll probably have to... What's that?
That seems to happen to him a lot.
Well, he
Can't
comes
imagine
in.
why.
He comes in adversarial mode automatically. Like he comes in and he's literally saying, "I'm not here to make friends, and I'm just gonna step all over everybody in the debate." And Godless Engineer was not doing anything about it, so I was just like, "You're out of here." This is at the time I was in charge of the channel. I'm just like, I'm not putting up with this.
Yeah, it's like when I go into debates, you know, the first thing on your mind isn't to make friends with the other person. I'll admit that, but I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm going to destroy this person with facts and logic. Well, that's a side effect, but sometimes. But you know, it's not my point of going into the debate. The point of me going to debate is not to have gotcha moments, and that is what Right the Hand does. He's like, I'm going to get this person, you know. And it's like, I actually am wanting honest discussion.
Yeah, when you look at it that way, he is a dishonest agent when it comes to what he is part of the conversation for. And actually, due to an issue with one of the moderators, the live stream I was going to be a part of tonight has been rescheduled to tomorrow evening. But it'll be myself and FE Jedi talking, having a discussion. And my intent going into this is to actually ask and get FE Jedi to explain, why does he hold the position he does? What thinking and what process got him to where he is? And then correct it from there. I'm not going in to be adversarial. I'm not going in to demean him. But at the same time, I will put my foot down if being disrespected excessively. I'm going to treat him like an adult, calmly, civilly, and just ask, it's like, okay, well, we're talking about this topic right now. Why do you have the position you hold on it? Explain to me how you came to this determination. Yeah. And then go from there.
And one person in the chat, Hugh Just, says, spot on, we want to understand their point of view, but they don't want to understand ours. And I think it's a combination of they think they understand ours and they think that we don't understand theirs. And
all right, guys, I'm gonna say goodbye. Thank you very much for having me. And somebody mentioned something about Jose. Somebody use your videos, copyright strike them. No, I think in the about on my channel, I say all my videos are for everybody to use. You can clip it, chop it, edit it, however you want. Upload it on your channel. I will appreciate if you give me a shout out in the description box. Original video. If not, I don't care. Shout out to Phil Blacka. He clipped my videos and upload the Nathan Thompsons and all the fun stuff. Me versus Nathan Oakley. He does it in his channel. I don't care. It's all good. It's cool. I love providing content. And if anybody want to use a clip of my videos, I'm happy when I'm browsing like, holy shit, hey, a clip of my footage. I didn't know it was here. So yeah, free for all, man. Thank you, Planet Walk. Thank you all. Nice meeting you, Bullinator. Never seen you around. I mean, never talked to you. AT, see you around, man, and everybody else.
See you, Jose.
See ya. One of the things that Jose brought up that I want to give another shout out to this person. I've already given him one shout out, but he's essentially taken not only my videos but other videos from other people, and he re-uploads them to his channel. But I do think that it is transformative content, because what he'll do is he'll basically take the video, and over top of it he'll say exactly what we say, but in German. So it's really helpful to.
So an active translation, you know, I don't see a problem with that.
Yeah, like I'd like my videos to reach a audience that I do not know German, you know. And it's good that other people that only understand German can now understand a couple of my videos, and as well as a couple of Simon Dan's videos. Let me see what channel, what content creators he has. I know that he's video and kill. I think that's how you spell it.
Damn it! I forgot the umlaut.
He hasn't been active for 3 months. For 3 months. I like that. I like that guy. He was doing a good job. But he has. Wait, is this Fight the Flat Earth or is it? It looks like Fight the Flat Earth. This is a video that I'm in.
Hier ist Folge 21 von.
Oh yeah. What's that?
No, I didn't say anything.
I think someone said something. Maybe it was something that came up on the video. So yeah, there's this video here that I just realized that I'm a part of one of the videos that he translated. The one where Fight the Flat Earth was explaining how Nathan Oakley and co had come up with a model, apparently. He's also taken a video from Dead Kennedy in Space and translated it too, actually. As well as Dead Kennedy in Space, Greater Sapien, Creaky Blinder, Wolfie 6020, Critical Think, Regical, Bob the Science Guy, Professor Stick, and even translated Bill Nye's rant, the climate change one. Anyone remember that?
Yes.
One person is saying Super Chat doesn't work here. I'm pretty sure the Super Chat works.
Super Chat does not show up if you have the chat popped out. You gotta have it on the page.
Oh, okay.
When did they change that? That's a new thing, actually.
And let me... okay.
It was at least a few weeks ago, because I remember mentioning it because I noticed it when I was doing one of my shows, because I always do the pop-out chat to capture and keep an eye on it. And
Definitely.
yeah, when you do that, the Super Chat option goes away. But when you restore the chat, it's...
Yeah, I just noticed that that as well, because here's something that's really stupid, right? So, like, I can send a super chat to myself.
Do it. Don't actually do it.
You might as well just hand the money to YouTube. Here, take 30% of my money.
Yeah.
Money laundering.
Well, it's one way to do it.
It's just without the crime at the start.
Probably not the best way to do it either, because it leaves a nice little trail.
Well, yeah, it's not cash. It's not paper money or whatever.
Yeah. It's just... apparently for one person it says purchase unsuccessful. And I've noticed that sometimes it will do that. Like, there's one time I was trying to send a... super chat, right? And it just wasn't letting me, right? And it was a $2 super chat. When I upgraded it to $5 super chat, it worked fine. I don't know why. Probably YouTube
is greedy.
Yeah, probably YouTube trying to get... and it was just a simple equation. I think it was the equation for dropity, and it was D equals uppity, and that's represented as U. I think it was divided by mass over buoyancy. And that's obviously represented as M over D. So, you know. And
That just... Ow.
have you never heard that equation before?
I've heard it mentioned, but I haven't heard the actual equation before, and just... Wow.
It's obviously a joke equation, you know.
You got a super chat?
Yeah, I got a super chat. Proper lols, US 199. Join the Plain Truth documentary spoof on Facebook. You see, I hardly ever use Facebook, so I'll have to pass on that. Like, there's so many. I'm just trying to. There's so many things that people say, oh, you should join this, join that, and it's like, well, like, quite often I'll talk to someone and be like, why don't you use Instagram? It's like, well, I don't have a need for Instagram. When I did use Instagram, I only posted 3 photos of things on there.
Yeah, I have 1 on there right now.
I don't even understand.
I'm bad with taking pictures.
I don't understand the point of it. Like, what's the point of Instagram? What can you do with Instagram that you cannot do with Facebook, for example?
It's Facebook without the cluttering of advertisements from news agencies and pages and other BS. It's purely visual media with a tagline too.
Yeah, and I just noticed that Bob the Science Guy was in the chat. I don't know if he was lurking or if he was, because I think did I mention him a little bit earlier?
Yes, when you were talking about the German translations.
Yeah. So I don't know if he was lurking for a while and just popped in to say, I heard my name mentioned.
If you say his name 3 times, you summon him.
Wait. There's a good way to use that summoning power? Wow.
Yeah, mention Flat Earth 3 times and you have Gary Wabinga Sharp in your chat.
Oh, God.
Yeah, but that's a neutral reaction. I mean, it's not like saying Red's name 3 times and then you get his face showing up. That's a negative reaction.
Yeah, that... isn't his face classed as it is
illegal in 15 states of the Union and is considered a weapon of mass destruction by the Geneva Convention.
Yep. It makes me wonder if there's anyone that actually has seen his face ever.
That survived with their vision intact? Well, that's a hard no.
Yeah. People often say, "Oh, why doesn't why doesn't people like Red's rhetoric show his face?" And it's like, well, for Red's rhetoric, there's a legitimate reason for him not showing his face. So.
Well, and there is another answer to go along with it that is a blanket answer for anyone in that aspect. And I even, in the off-air bit on Jose's, I tried to get to this question specifically with Pete Shea. What value is added by turning on a camera to show someone's ugly mug? Absolutely none. Address the argument, not the person. Yeah.
Like, when it comes to 1 minute debunk, I don't know what he actually looks like, and I probably don't want to know what he looks like, because then it would ruin the voice for me.
My face is actually pretty easy to figure out if you know a few basic facts that you could easily glean from, like my username or whatever.
Well, I don't want to know what you look like, sorry.
I look like a person.
Well, that's good, but I
was hoping you weren't the amorphous, disembodied head of a dog.
I bought a webcam just the other day, but I'm not sure if I will ever use it for the reasons you give. I do kind of agree with what Red said about kind of depersonifying, if that's a word, the arguments, because I feel there's a lot of personality in a lot of the kind of skeptical debates, especially in Flat Earth. There's a lot of personality being injected, and it's not meaningful.
Well, you'll notice that a lot of videos that I do, a lot of videos that I have done more recently, I have sort of stepped a little more towards actually responding to people rather than particular arguments. But a lot of videos that I have done in the past, they've been responding to an argument, not necessarily sometimes like take the relative density as a force thing, right? One of the things that the way that I think I responded to that is I just mentioned what the argument is, and I responded to it. I only had 2 clips of Sleeping Warrior, and it was just him saying, "This is an egg, as an egg," and people are saying that I'm just, and I swear I used Snapchat filters, but I don't think people realize the difference.
Yeah, I mean that's how it should be. You state the argument clearly, so there's no confusion, and then address the evidence if it's evidence-based, or what the fault in it is, or if it's correct.
Now, I do see the value of bringing in people. Like, for example, that guy. I mean, I was able to point out just how much he cherry picks, right? I mean, you can do that if you respond to a person, rather than.
I'm still waiting for my question to be answered. Of what is space weight?
I can't tell you that. I don't know what space weight is, honestly. I have heard it before, but I haven't.
I don't even think that guy knows what it is, and he's the one that coined it.
Maybe it's. I can imagine one thing that he could maybe. Like, here's maybe one thing that he could be talking about, right? Rather than the force that it is required to lift an object, maybe it's the force that is required to move an object due to its mass. But isn't that just described as mass, not space weight?
No, mass is the physical property of a body of how much material actually is within that object. When you're looking at the actual movement of a body, so this is where a Newton is the amount of force it takes to move 1 kilogram 1 meter. Direction doesn't matter. You're just the amount of energy it takes to relocate a mass of 1 kilogram 1 meter in any direction is a Newton, which is actually where weight comes from.
It's like one thing that baffles. Like, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert in forces, right? But I can at least understand the basics of forces. Whereas I find that flat earthers, I think it was Right the Hand that asked, "What's a Newton?"
Fruit and cake. I had to say it. I had to say it. And no, the town right across the border in Massachusetts where they were initially produced. But no, so the definition of a Newton is the amount of energy required to move a mass of 1 kilogram 1 meter.
And yeah, so a lot
of technically Newton's a metric measurement. So
yeah, it's an SI measurement. It is a standard scientific measurement, and what that measurement is, that's what it. The definition I've given is what 1 Newton is the amount of energy it takes to move 1 kilogram 1 meter.
One thing that I think that we should all do, right, is... Oh, thank you. I didn't know what P. Mars was saying, but... Okay. I see what he was saying.
Yeah, he thought he'd be a smartass and think I was still, broke, which I'm not. So, fuck you, P. Mars. Go away, and why don't you worry about someone else other than the people you can constantly harass online and porn bomb, for example. Let's not do that, okay? Go away.
But one of the things that I find is that we really need to start using metric more, because you see, I find it really painful when someone puts something in feet and it's like, oh, okay, how do I convert this to meters?
I've never porn bombed anyone. That's a vile lie that people are spreading about me.
Even though you've admitted to it?
I've never admitted to it, though.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that there's people that can bring up.
There's no shred of evidence.
You commenting. You listen here, you punk. You commenting on.
I'm not a punk. You're the one. You're
on my financial.
You're the punk. Hey,
you're
listen,
the
punk.
one.
You're the one who's lying about me, calling me a porn bomber. I'm not a porn bomber. You have no evidence to back up that claim. You give other people shit claims they can't back up with evidence. So why are you such a hypocrite? And why do you need the internet to help pay your fucking bills? You're pathetic.
You are pathetic.
No, I'm not the one lying. I'm not the one spreading rumors and lies about other people on YouTube for no reason.
The fuck? I'm spreading a lie. You porn bomb.
I did not porn bomb anyone.
Sean. Can you get this fucker out of here, please, Planner? Because
I never porn bombed Sean Hufford's.
You did too. The fact that you even know what I'm talking about.
I only got a link to one of the Hangouts for one thing.
So you admit you admit you got the link. You got the link. And
yeah, but I didn't porn bomb.
That gives you the ability to porn bomb. What happened? It was porn bombed 10 seconds after you left. Then it was porn bombed again.
Because he shared the link. That's his fault.
So what?
He shared the link.
That doesn't make porn bombing. That doesn't make porn bombing socially acceptable, Q-Mars. It doesn't.
But I didn't porn bomb anyone. I never porn bombed anyone. I just had the link to a Hangout.
You got Tim Osman to help you porn bomb it. Don't give me that shit.
You're just making this up. Why are you allowed to just make stuff up about people and then you criticize other people for making claims without evidence? That's called being a hypocrite, right?
Oh, I'm making it up.
You're completely making it up. Because I know for a fact that it's not true because I'm involved in the claim. I know for a fact I've never porn bombed anyone. In fact, I went on Fight the Flat Earth and I tried to I tried to warn and help Fight the Flat Earth.
You were mad.
I tried to help people not get porn bombed. Why would I do that? I tried to help people not get porn bombed. I prevented porn bombings.
So
how many porn bombings have you prevented? How many people have you helped avoid getting porn bombed?
Well, let's see. How about all 500 of the non sequitur show videos?
Zero.
How about all 500 of the non sequitur show videos?
You got no evidence, and you're a liar and a fraud. Bye.
Oh,
that's fantastic. Now I'm a fraud and a liar.
That's really funny because people like I had my mouse hovering over the server mute button, right? Just in case, because like as Casual Spaceman said, this is about to spin out of control. But
probably,
it always
it was a good idea.
Yeah.
Weren't you in that stream with me, Jared?
Oh yeah, I was there. He got pissed, and wow, all of a sudden people started getting kicked out of the Hangout.
Right. So you may not have actually done it, P-Mars. I'll give you that. I'll hand that to you on a silver fucking platter. Doesn't fucking matter. You probably had something to do with it because you were butthurt that we didn't like your source. We weren't mad at you. We were debunking your source. We had totally debunked your shitty source, and you decided that you didn't like that and you ran away. 2 seconds later, we were getting kicked out and they were showing porn on the screen. Wonder how that worked.
So, what I was looking
for.
And
that's a lie, by the way.
What I'm going back to looking for, just to hammer it home a little bit, is because after that happened, PMars was in another Hangout on another channel saying that he did it, and then when asked for clarification, oh no, I didn't do it. I gave the link to someone to go do it.
Right,
So,
which is worse because you're accessory and you're conspiring to commit porn bombing.
Yeah, it's like saying I didn't murder that person. I just set up a machine to murder the person.
I gave the gun to this person to go do it for me.
Right.
You know, it's
just he's too incompetent to do it himself.
And as far as me getting money for being on the internet, I do work, fucker. I did all the work for the Non Sequitur show from May of 2018. I also produced Scientist Mel, The Geek Room, and Pimp Monk. So, and I'm open to other people. So don't tell me I shouldn't get paid for my work. And the fact that I lost my actual job in 2018 and had a really tough time finding work in my field, which happens to be microprocessor engineering, I actually ended up taking a job in system administration just to tide me over until I could find a job. But yeah. I'm sorry, I needed little help to get through the year. But thank you to everybody who's contributed, including Jared and anybody else in this room who's done it, and the chat.
I was gonna say, like, I do really like your work, Bullionator, and I could probably have better production quality on my shows, but I just don't have the money to be able to pay someone to do this. And besides, I think the production quality is all right on my shows.
Was that a hint there, Planet?
Nah.
I do it on the sliding scale. I'm not gonna divulge how much, but it's less than $50 per month for all of my clients. So I'm not really making a
I think it's crazy for anybody to say that nobody should be paid for what they actually do on YouTube. That's just a ludicrous thing to say.
Why the hell would you try to monetize a channel and get some followers and what the hell? And get a Patreon? Exactly. Why the hell else would you do that?
It's like
seriously.
You know, a lot of people. I've had people criticize me for getting money from YouTube, right? And it's like, well, you know, I'm trying to work on my own video game. You know, that doesn't as long as that's not released, it's not making money. So I can't. I've got to have some other form of income, and YouTube money actually allows me to work on that game, which can. There's two scenarios from it, right? Scenario A is it makes me money and is a success, or scenario B is that it doesn't work out, but it becomes something that I can put on my portfolio to get a proper job. And that's one thing that's really lacking is my portfolio. And if I don't work on my portfolio, then I'm probably never going to actually find a job that I want to work in. So, you know. Yeah. Unless I take an internship, but if I take an internship, I'd need to have something to tide me over. So
I mean, at the end of the day, you know, there's two things to consider. I mean, most of us creators, you know, we're entertainers at the end of the day, whether it be factual information or debunking or whatever it might be. The whole purpose of a YouTube video really is to entertain, you know, to occupy people's minds for a while. And also, secondly, you know, I don't think not everybody appreciates how much work can go into a video. Sometimes, we all know some videos can take such a long time to do.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes a pain in the ass, and I always find the editing the fiddly bit, although I actually enjoy that the most rather than the actual recording. But sometimes it's like some videos just don't go your own way, and it can be a nightmare at times. So yeah, to sort of expect people to do that for free, for nothing, particularly when they don't have an income or got a low income, like myself, I think is a ridiculous notion. So anybody to sort of criticize anybody for making money out of YouTube is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You mean it's possible to have multiple revenue streams, and also you mean it takes time to take 2 to 4 hours of footage and condense it down to a watchable 10 to 15 minute long video? No, I have no idea what that's like.
No, because all yours are live streams, Jared.
Oh no,
I'm joking.
no,
I'm joking.
Oh.
I'm joking.
Go look at AT2 Moto. You'll be.
I know. I was seeing them. I'm only teasing him. But it's only because I'm jealous, and he's got 1.1k, and he's got a membership on his channel. That's what I'm jealous about. You see, if I tell the truth.
I think they're actually giving that to anybody because. Klairuhnz has membership too. Is 5.8k subscribers. The number was supposed to be 300,000.
Yeah. Well,
that's what it was initially for the non-gaming channels, and then they decided to do a test, roll it out to other people, and then they decided, you know what, screw it. If you're monetized, give it time, and you'll have the option available to you too. What I laugh about is I got it before Brain.
Yeah, and we're you and I are the same level of subscribers, Jared, and that's why I'm so incredibly jealous.
Well, you see,
the Geek Rooms had it. The Geek Rooms had it for like a couple of years at this point.
So I have a theory on it
because it was a gaming channel at one point. So
I have a little bit of a theory or a hypothesis about it, and I think it's based on how much you stream. I think if you are streaming, what they'll do is they'll be like, oh yeah, we'll give the join button to this person. But if you never stream, I think they withhold it from you or something. That's my hypothesis. So Casual Spaceman.
So if I ask, would they give it to me?
Maybe. So do you stream? Do you stream?
Not enough, clearly.
Well, how often do you stream?
Well, I was trying to do it about once a week or so, but it's less than that. I mean, I was streaming quite a lot during the summertime because, as you know, I stream quite a lot of rocket launches. So, not so much now. I mean, like during the summer, I mean, it was happening at least once or twice a week sometimes. So, no, not so much now. So I've got to get my thinking caps on and come up with something good.
Maybe just go into your channel and look at channel, because quite often you can just activate it. I was like, oh. Like, as soon as I got monetized, I was like, oh, what's this channel memberships thing that's showing up here? Why do I get this?
It's just so I think it's just so much easier than Patreon because everything's all built in, and the rewards and the levels and stuff are all there, all ready to use, and that's one of the reasons why I really want to have that. I'd rather have that than Patreon, to be fair.
Yeah,
to me, it's tomato between the two. YouTube, it is the memberships there are a little bit easier to set up, but at the same time, Patreon takes less of a cut.
It's also
this is true. Yeah.
I also find it somewhat easier to manage things through Patreon. Now, I will admit there are things that are easy to manage through YouTube memberships. Like if you want to make a video that's only for YouTube members, you can do that very easily. And a person has to be a YouTube member. Like if someone were to so I've got a few Patreon only videos, but they could be shared out if one of my Patreons decided, if one of my Patrons decided, I'm going to share this out to everyone. I hope no one actually does that, but
oh yeah, that was one thing I noticed with when I set up my Patreon for predominantly the moto side is trying to figure out where I was going to host the videos because an unlisted YouTube video, all you need to see it is the link.
Yeah.
And if you set it to private, no one can see it. So trying to find that platform to where you can actually control access in that way is difficult. But with like you said, with the memberships, it's easy to designate a video as members only, and then you have to be logged in and you have to be a member in order for it to be visible. And real quick before we get too much farther away, and I forget. I did forget the time factor on a Newton. It is 1 kilogram accelerated to 1 meter per second. I was trying to simplify it, and see, sometimes even I make mistakes. And I thank you for everyone who pointed it out. Huh?
Right.
It's the time factor. It's 1 meter per second squared.
Yeah. Well, accelerate it to 1 meter per second squared.
Yeah.
You mean you actually made a mistake, Jared?
Well,
yeah, it happens. And I take correction and will clarify and put the correction out.
Indeed,
And
you do.
And just as a basic physics principle, anytime there's acceleration is involved.
What's someone's saying? Update your description to reflect the current Patreons. I thought I have. Is it not showing?
It might be their way of saying that they just became a new patron.
I just realized what they're talking about. So with this live stream, I actually took it from another live stream, which I used, and so it had the description of the old live stream. Gonna have to fix that.
Oh, that's very disrespectful of you.
So, but yeah, I'll need to update it. Yeah,
I'm very jealous of your monetized channels. I was here crying.
Well, you're halfway to the you're halfway to the amount of subscribers you need. I don't know what progress you've made on the watch time. Hopefully, you've made
60.
I think 1MD, you're going to have to change your channel to 2-minute debunk, because then at least you could probably like to actually maybe more or less double your viewing hours, perhaps. I don't know.
Oh, I'll never sell out to it, man.
Accelerate it a little bit.
I don't want to. I have 16.5k views, 16.1k minutes. There's a nice correlation, almost.
16,000.
Okay,
divided by.
But so here's a question for you. Petrol is pence per liter. Do you go by the dollar amount or the total number, like say 10 liters?
I don't understand the question.
Okay, so it might be a little easier for me to explain with the imperial units we actually use here in the States. Say the price per gallon is $2.49. $2.49 and the 9 after. So it's essentially $2.50 a gallon, but it doesn't actually ring up as $2.50 because of that freaking 1,000th of a cent damn taxes. You put 10 gallons in, you're sitting at exactly 10 gallons, so the price is reading $24.99. Do you add the cent to go to $25, or do you leave it at the 10 gallon?
I would
to
add
make it
the
easier,
cent.
I'd add the cent. Yeah, I would add the cent. Yeah.
This is a time value proposition. How much is the time it takes for me to put a cent into my wallet or whatever? How much is that worth to me? That's assuming I'm paying with cash. If it's card, I would just not.
Yeah, I wouldn't care if it was a car.
But if you're paying with cash, then I will avoid small change because it's time consuming.
Well, see,
that way, that's 2 seconds I'll never get back.
So I love that question as a gauge of someone's OCD, because there's a guy that I used to work with who would literally have prolonged discussions about the benefits of one over the other, and he could never come to a decision between the two. His OCD was that bad.
Even to the fact that he's probably paying for his gas for with his card anyway. So what difference does it make?
Exactly.
One of the
my premise is I will always try to go to the easier number for the math in the register of the checkbook after. So I will always top off that little bit just to go to an increment of 5 just to make the math easier.
Mind you, I did run a small business for a little while, and actually, I'm not saying that I was fiddling the books, but I would occasionally round things up and round things down slightly, maybe, just to make calculating the taxes just that little bit easier, perhaps. But that was I wouldn't call that AUC.
Rounding things down by a couple thousands of dollars, you know.
No, we were talking about pence, you know, it's like one, you know, a few pence in, a few. Once I rounded down, it probably balanced itself out anyway. But
yeah.
Technically in this country, that's kind of illegal. But you know, they're not going to come after me for what probably might have ended up a few pounds difference here and there at the end of the year.
Real quick, John Rapp donated 10 Australian dollars, right? And I'm going to bring up something about that soon. He says, I strongly believe that everyone should contribute for entertainment, tedious production work, equipment, software, time, and education. TANSTAAFL. I'm happy to contribute the cost of a couple coffees. And yeah, like, every little bit helps, you know?
Absolutely.
There ain't no such thing as is the acronym.
What?
There ain't no such thing as a free lunch.
Yeah.
Nice.
You know, even if you use McDonald's, you know, the little Monopoly things that you can get at McDonald's now, you know, someone had to pay for that.
I've just noticed something. Yeah, 1MD, you said ain't. I've never heard you say ain't ever.
He has the speakers muted, so he didn't hear you. But speaking of food, I'm going to go get some dinner, and I will catch all of you gents next.
Okay.
All right, Jared, take it easy.
See ya. So real quick, because of the super chat, I want to... Australian money is really weird. So why is their $1 coin bigger than their $2 coin? How does that make any sense?
Excuse the pun sense.
that was an unintentional pun, but I love it.
I'm not going to comment on other countries' money because ours is like OD green. Seriously, it's like camouflage money.
On all your bills. Aren't all your bills the same size as well, aren't they?
They're all the same size, and they just recently started putting colors, but they're not like if you go to. I remember being in Germany, the 5 mark bill was freaking a yellowish orange.
Yeah, I remember it.
And it's like you could easily tell that from the single mark bill, which was blue. Yeah. So it was easy. You could visually, and they were different sizes. It was very convenient to keep it organized. Here,
and if you notice as well, the actual value of each bill as well was a very large text. I don't know if you remember that. It was pretty big in the corner, if I remember.
Yeah, it was huge compared to the United States. The United States, they tell you when you go through cash handling here that you should look at the face of the bill. Ignore the corners when you're counting it because the face is going to give you the true value because people will cut the numbers are so small that they'll graft the number from a larger bill onto like a 1, and you'll have a 1 with 20s in the corner. At that point, that's illegal. 1, 2, it's still only worth $1.
Yeah.
Here in New Zealand.
What about the rest of the bills in Australia? Then can you tell the difference very well? Plain what? You're probably the only one here that's got anywhere close to it.
Yeah, you can tell. You know, the money in Australia is very similar to the money in New Zealand when it comes to notes. It's just
Chio doesn't remember the yellow-orange Deutschmark.
But the
no, I remember that.
When you go over to Australia from New Zealand, right? You go over and it's like, oh, this is a $1 coin. No, it's got a 2 on it. And it's like, okay, then what's this bigger coin here? Is it a $5 coin? No, it's a $1 coin. Now, I will admit, the $2 coin is about the size of a New Zealand $1 coin. And the $1 coin is slightly smaller than the size of a New Zealand $2 coin. So it's easy to get them confused.
I'm trying to think where there was one. It wasn't. I'm looking at all these different marks. I'm trying to find the one that Geo saw. I might be wrong on the colors. I might have got the colors mixed up because the only ones I'm seeing are green, but the other money was not. That was the point. If the 5 mark was green, everything else was a different color.
Yeah, I certainly remember them being all different colors. That's for sure. And I always remember the figures being very big. And I left Germany when I was about, I don't know, 9 or 10. So it was a while ago, but they were always different. Very, very different.
One of the things that always surprises me is how papery the American money is.
Yeah.
If in New Zealand the money is very plasticky, so...
Well, in the UK, we've only just started switching over to the plasticky money now. It's only just started, really.
Yeah, it's like you got to imagine how many notes were ripped up easily, or accidentally ripped, or got a whole lot of water. Yeah.
Oh wait, somebody did send it to me. Oh, they sent me the plates. Of course, the plates are yellow. They're made of gold.
I actually remember when I had to go to the shops to buy prepay power, and you have to take the meter number to your shop, right? It's really stupid. You have to take the meter number to the shop. Then they give you a code, which you've got to go home, put into your meter to actually top up the power. Now, fortunately, there is a point to taking the meter number to the shop. I don't see why you have to put the code into your power meter, because what other meter are you going to put it into? I mean, I suppose if you get it wrong, but they even ask you when you're at the shop, do you live at such and such a place? And it's like, yes, I do. And then it's really weird. But anyway, I had this note, and I had to put everything in the wash, and I put a whole lot of stuff in the wash because I was having a shower, right? And I realized, shit. The note to top up the power was in the wash. And that got absolutely destroyed. Kind of like how I imagine a $1 note getting destroyed in the wash. An American $1 note. Or $5 note. John Rapp says US money is closest to linen, is it not?
Yeah, it's basically. What did Geo send me? Those are much better. The euros. Yes, the euros. Now the euros are seriously just, like every one of them is a different, almost pastel color. So.
Yeah, in New Zealand, all the notes are different coloured. I believe the one thing that does.
I think Canada's the same way too.
Like, I'm colourblind, so I can't really tell you what the $5 note colour is in New Zealand, but I know that the $20 note is a shade of blue. Purple, maybe. I think the $50 is purple, and then I think the $10 is also kind of a different bluish colour. Then I know the $20 note is green, and I can't remember what the $100 note is. I don't think that's quite green. I know that the $5 note isn't quite green either, but I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly what colour it is. But here's the interesting thing about New Zealand, right? We've got 2 different types of each note. So if you have a $5 note, it might be the old $5 note or the new $5 note. If you have a $20 note, it might be the old $20 note or the new $20 note. Now, granted, they are the same colour, right? It's just that
Are
both
they different sizes?
No, they're the same size. It's just that they're both in circulation at the same time for some reason. It doesn't really make sense.
Well, that happens here too. Like, I've seen notes that are still in circulation from 2 series ago. They're still valid.
Okay. I just don't get why they would even change the notes like that, you know? It's like...
You think it's a lot worse in Scotland?
Where is it?
Okay, so one person said in the chat, New Zealand notes are $5 orange/brown, $10 blue, $20 green, $50 purple, and $100 reddish.
Here we go. This is the ones. I don't care about the one single note. I want the collection. There's a place where you can go and actually buy old notes for. There's people that collect currency.
Oh, okay. One person says counterfeiting prevention, but how is it preventing? Like, can't they just? If the old notes are valid, wouldn't it?
Giving them more options.
Yeah.
Well, they wear out physically, so like they take them out. The banks take them out of circulation and print new. So if you see a dollar bill from 1950, it looks a lot different than a dollar bill from 2019. A lot, but it's still a dollar bill.
Fair point.
In the UK, there's English banknotes of various shapes and sizes, and then in Scotland, there's the same banknotes in the same shapes and sizes, but there's 3 separate banks that are allowed to print them. So there's 3 Scottish variants of each English note, and we have the English ones as well because it's the UK. But it does mean if you get money in Scotland and get on a train and go down to London and try and pay for something, they're often like really cagey because it looks like an English banknote, but it's got some totally different thing on it.
These people, like for $8, you can go get some Pfennings from Germany from 1920. This is crazy.
Yeah. Hugh said the advantage of plastic notes is the microtext. It makes them very hard to counterfeit. And yeah, I'd agree. Like in New Zealand, here's the thing, right? If you want to see if a note is real or counterfeit, one of the things that you can do is you can hold it up to light, and you'll see a picture of the Queen there. Every note has a picture of the Queen. I don't know if it's in the new notes, but it was definitely in the old notes. Is everyone there? Like everyone just went silent.
I didn't know quite how to respond to that. But all right.
There's usually a lot more things about notes that are anti-counterfeit measures. There's a certain constellation of circles or stars that exists on a lot of banknotes that makes them not makes them unscannable, but scanning software is often designed to identify this constellation. And
that's why they use paper here. Like the paper here is not paper; it's more like a really highly compressed cloth. It's not woven; it's pressed.
It's super linen mix, isn't it?
It's like linen, yeah. But there's little red and blue fibers in the cloth that if you were to run the plate on standard paper wouldn't be there. So
okay.
There's raised intaglio ink on the collars of the presidents, for example. If you don't feel that raised ink, it's a counterfeit. The lifted corners, that's another thing that's easy to spot, but people still try it.
One thing that also was said in the chat, John Rapp said, we got rid of the $1 and $2 notes. Strippers weren't happy. Now, I mean, imagine throwing $1 and $2 coins at strippers. But yeah, when it comes to that, like, wouldn't. So I don't know if it's the same over in Australia, but
so it wasn't. I need to correct a mistake real quick. It wasn't the 5 mark note that was the 5 mark note. 5 mark note is green. Keo's right, but there's a 50 mark note from 1990-ish that is gold yellow, and I just posted a link to that in chat. So
okay. But yeah, like when it comes to that, I don't know when it comes to the thing that I was talking about earlier, I don't know what it's like in other countries. Maybe it's different. But don't a lot of strip clubs actually have their own sort of form of currency that you can like probably go and buy? Maybe that's because
kind of like poker chips, but flat, so you can stick it in their underwear.
Yeah, something like that. I haven't been to a strip club in ages, and I never have actually bought any money or anything to give to the strippers. Because first off, my girlfriend at the time would have been mad if I had have done that, and so yeah. And secondly, I was only there because it's where all my mates decided they wanted to go.
Yeah, peer pressure.
Well, I don't know why. I actually don't know why they wanted to go as well, because
I can guess.
Well, none of them really were watching the show. We're actually just sort of like, well, the first time, like, so there's twice. The first time
keep digging.
So the first time was actually because I'd never been to a strip club, right? And my girlfriend was like, "Oh, we'll go to the strip club, right?" The second time was, for some reason, my mates were like, "Oh, let's go to the strip club," and I was like, "Doesn't it cost money to get into the strip club or something?" And somehow we got in for free. Don't know how. So, but yeah, then like we didn't actually watch the show or anything. We're hanging out. Maybe it was one of their friends was in there or something. Maybe they're friends with one of the strippers or something. So we're hanging out sort of backstage-ish. So I don't know what was going on there.
Sounds like a time.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting, but could have been more interesting because, as I said, we're only backstage, and it's like, I mean, sure you can talk backstage without people wondering, without getting weird looks or anything. I don't actually know if you can get weird looks from talking to people and like just going to the strip club and just talking. I don't know if you get weird looks or anything, but because I haven't really done that, but I imagine you could get weird looks from just talking in a strip club. It's like, there's a show going on. Why are you just talking to your mate?
Well, it's like talking in the library, I would imagine.
Yeah. Except you also have a lot of other... In the library, you don't have any... In the library, people are looking at their own books. In a strip club, everybody's looking at a girl.
Yeah, sure, I understand the difference between a library and a strip club.
That's good. I was worried that you didn't for a second there.
No, I'm not making that mistake again.
I like how you said again. Which implies you did make that mistake before.
Never. I'm a perfect gentleman at all times.
So I'm guessing that what you did is you walked into a strip club thinking that it was the library.
Yeah, sat reading a book in the corner going, shh.
Why is this music blasting in my ears? Well, this stream is officially demonetized.
Oh well.
I swear they can talk. I swear they can recognize the content of the stream. Honestly,
there's definitely words that if you say them, for example, no, I'm not going to say anything. There are definitely words you can say that will put your stream up to adults rating, whatever it is, the higher rating, and it will likely cause demonetization.
Yeah. Apparently, there are strip clubs where there aren't any women dancing. I can understand that. It's just that I haven't been to any.
Well, you went to a strip club because you hadn't been. So now you should go to a different kind of strip club because you haven't been.
Good excuse.
Hooray!
But, you know, like...
I was just going to say, I actually just popped on to say thanks for featuring my video in your video.
Oh, no problem. Like, you managed to get to 500 subs.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of food.
And I popped in to address Wabenga.
Okay.
He left. He ran away like a chicken.
Okay. Well, like a lot of flarists do. I find that a lot of...
Yes.
John Rapp says studying in a strip club is much more interesting. I'm guessing you're studying human anatomy? I mean, that's what I'd do in a strip club. If I was
Can you
studying.
identify the muscle groups? That's a tough one.
Pop quiz. That would be fun. Like, actually, one person said no woman dancing. Or I just remembered. You know, like, did someone say not every strip club has women dancing? Like, maybe there's men dancing in the strip club. It's those...
Yes, that's the implication. The sexy implication.
As long as, like, I'd be really worried about going to a strip club in Australia, especially a male strip club in Australia, because I'm worried that you'd have Scotty Storm.
I almost feel like we shouldn't make fun of Scotty Storm, as he has deleted his channel.
Yeah. He's a good meme.
He's such a good meme.
Yeah. You know,
memes will never die.
It's really funny how he said that Flat Earth isn't dying and then goes ahead and deletes his channel. It's like you said that Flat Earth isn't dying and you delete your channel? Like, like what's going on there? How to kill the mood fast. Does anyone actually still have any Scotty Storm videos downloaded? Like, you know,
I bet they're still kicking around.
Maybe I need some contraception.
People have made responses to him. They probably have his videos.
Oh yeah, good point. But it's still good contraception, you know. Like if you just stitch some of those videos together, and you know, if you need to get out of there, or you know, you need some form of contraception, you don't just watch a Scotty Storm video.
Yeah, you just commission a 3 foot by 5 foot oil painting of him and hang it above your bed.
Well, there's times when, you know, other forms of contraception you may want rather than Scotty Storm contraception. Like, maybe you do want to get laid, but you know, it's like, okay, I'll just use a condom, right? Because that's contraception. But there's times when it's...
But once you get the painting, you have it forever. You don't need to keep buying more.
Well...
It's so cost effective.
Well,
admittedly, it's probably a huge down payment up front.
Well, you see, in New Zealand, you can actually get a box of condoms for free. And if you don't use, you know, I mean, seriously, how fast are you going to use a box of 12 condoms, right?
Half a day. What are you using them for?
I was gonna be coy and say 6 days, but you know, half a day is fine.
I mean, yeah, it does depend what you're using them for. Like, but you know, when it comes to, you can also buy like 144 condoms for $5 here in New Zealand. So
That's excellent.
I mean, you can.
They are great party balloons. Well, are they that great party balloons? It depends on the party. If it's a children's birthday party, no, they are not great party balloons.
And in the United States, you can get free condoms. You have to look, but you can get them. But everything else, it's like pulling teeth for the female side of this.
Could you does using them to fix a leaky water pipe count?
That's their intended usage, isn't it?
Prophylactic, prevent leaks.
I mean, isn't condoms mostly used for fixing a leaky water pipe? Isn't that like what just about everyone uses them for?
Exactly.
I feel like family planning over in the US, or the Planned Child. What's the clinics used over there? What's the name?
There's Planned Parenthood. But
yeah,
Planned Parenthood does a lot of stuff.
Yeah, like most people say, oh, they're just giving abortions. Like, well, I'd imagine that they would also provide contraception. That also, they'd probably provide.
They provide contraception. They do pap smears and what's the breast one? The
mammogram.
The mammogram, yeah, where they do that stuff. In fact, and people here complain, well, Planned Parenthood is using our tax money to do abortions. No, they're not. Abortions actually cost the person getting the abortion money. They have to pay for that. No tax dollars are used for that. They're used to prevent pregnancy and to encourage women's health. And men's, for that matter. I'm sure if you had a urological problem, you could probably go there.
One person in the chat said leaky water pipers. That's what it's now called. Yes, that is now what it's called.
Yes. I got a leak in my pipe. I need to plug it.
You know, like
proctology.
I don't know what proctology is.
That's the rear entrance doctor.
It's kind of like a obstetrics gynecologist, but there's no babies and it's a different hole.
Yeah, like what some people say, just use the arse. It's kind of like a lot of people like if you want to actually have sex with someone, the arse isn't always the best. Like if you want to have sex with someone, saying, "Oh, let's just have anal," it's like most people a lot of people that I know are just going to say no.
That is a bit of an escalation.
It's like if you want to have sex with someone and you don't want any babies, like you've got the option of either A, using a condom, or B, having anal. And anal, like a lot of people are going to say no, so you're pretty much left with now we know him. Now we're done.
Well, there are more options. There's a whole set of problems that come with anal anyway. Like, that's a whole different can of worms that you need condoms for. So,
yes.
Yeah. So you might as well. And one person said,
condoms are not just for pregnancy or prevention of pregnancy. Although that is a usage, they are a very important part of safe sexual practice
and prevent STIs.
Yeah. And as with any contraceptives, they're not entirely effective.
Kylo Renfield said pull-out method, which that doesn't always work. I've heard of people that were basically using the pull-out method, and one of them became. The girl became pregnant. I should I just want to clarify that I'm not just going to say.
Thanks for clarifying that. I was really confused.
Anyway, guys, I actually have to go. So it was fun. I'm glad to talk to you, Klairuhnz. It's been a while. And good to meet you 1 minute.
Hey, Will. I'll catch you later.
Later, guys.
We should all. I just want to read out this chat that said, we should all prevent STDs. 3 seasons are too much. I don't know what they're talking about.
Star Trek Discovery.
Oh, okay.
It took me a second, but yes, that's definitely the story.
Okay. Anyway,
Klingons that aren't that can't move their face. Yeah, that was where I stopped.
Okay.
I'm gonna watch all of Star Trek Discovery because I like being annoyed at things.
Well, I'll probably watch it eventually. It's out in Hulu or something. I'm not gonna pay ABC for that crap. Sorry.
That is a good moral stance.
Well, you see, I was able to watch it on Netflix, I think.
Yeah.
Later, guys.
All right, see you, ball night. I watched like a couple of episodes with my parents who are really into Star Trek.
What did your parents think?
I think they're like meh.
Yeah, it's very meh.
Like, they weren't clamoring to find out what happens next, so yeah, like they didn't complain when I cancelled my Netflix subscription.
There's some okay things about Discovery. Kylo Renfield says next gen all the way. That's a good choice.
I find that for some things,
I'm trying to start a Star Trek fight.
You got to have the original with Spock, or the movies. Either works.
Oh, the movies, Deep Space Nine. That's best Trek.
What?
Star Trek Deep Space Nine is best Trek. It's the best ever.
Yeah, well, I enjoyed the movies. It's you see, with movies, when you have ADHD, movies help because it's like 2 hours and you don't have to think about it afterwards, and you don't have to remember what happened in the last episode. You
might like Star Trek Discovery then, because that's what the writers treat it like.
When it comes to Discovery has Spock Award version. Yeah, maybe I haven't really seen much of the original, but yeah, when it comes
Spock appears in Next Gen as well, and
okay.
Yeah, just in Next Gen.
Next Gen is probably alright then, because it has the not Captain Kirk, but it has Captain Picard, I think.
That's correct.
Yes, I know my shit.
Yeah, clearly you're a Star Trek expert.
I am an expert on Star Trek. And then there's...
Remember the main character's name.
And then there's some people that probably have that Picard meme where it's just like... the reason why I remember Picard is because he's the bald guy.
He is indeed the bald guy. I mean, he's not the only bald guy in the show, but he is the notably bald guy.
Yes. Like, the other bald guy is bald guy too.
He's not the only bald main character, Captain.
Yeah, that's why there's bald guy too.
Huge artists come here to defend Deep Space Nine as the best.
Ahoy hoy, huge ass.
You are muted. You are not muted.
When I say the movies, like, I've only watched the new movies, the ones with all the lens flares in them.
Go back and watch Wrath of Khan.
But I did watch Wrath of Khan.
Do you mean you watched the modern? What is it called? I can't remember the name of it. The second one, Star Trek Into Darkness.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that's it.
That was just Wrath of Khan, wasn't it?
No, it was like a kind of racist version of a watered down Wrath of Khan, I guess. But it doesn't compare. It doesn't. I'm just annoyed now. Thanks. I like being annoyed.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Time to get this stream claimed. What can I say except you're welcome? There we go. It's been claimed by Disney now. Disney has now bought Planet Walk.
Sold out to the man. I'm still waiting to hear Hugh Joyce, who has joined us here.
Maybe his mic's not working. You know,
Well, Discord's he's got it unmuted, so it seems like it's registered.
Well, I think it's maybe he was trying, because we still haven't heard him. He's probably saying, "Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?" And
you need to click the little cog down at the bottom where it's got the microphone and the headphones. There's a little cog, and you can go into video and voice and set it up in there.
Yeah, so I'll send a screenshot so that hopefully. It's nice that whenever OBS is open, whenever OBS is open, it says streamer mode is enabled. Now that can be annoying at sometimes when you want to check for a particular chat that was in the chat. Then you got to disable stream mode, and then you got to go back and disable stream mode, or you just shut down the stream for 30 seconds whilst you basically close OBS, completely shut down the stream, reopen OBS, and it's like, okay, I'm back. I was just checking something on Discord, and I want to mention at Hugh just upload.
What?
So, what is your opinion on fast food things having like little nifty things like the Monopoly thing that McDonald's does?
Fast food promotions? I was away, I think, when you were discussing this.
Okay. Oh, I only brought it up like...
It's a promotion. It's
well,
fine, I guess.
It is fun, but, it is basically a way to get you to spend more money at this store.
Yeah, it's a promotion.
Unfortunately, it works as well.
Yeah, it's kind of... I always put them in my wallet, and then eventually at the end I have like all these little pieces of nonsense.
Yeah, it's like I do want the $1,000. I do want the $1,000 thing, but it's like I never actually win it. I swear that no one actually wins the $1,000 thing.
Well, if you can prove it, they can get in trouble, which they actually did. I think there was a case about the McDonald's monopoly. The original run of it was scammed by the people running it somehow.
Okay.
They held on to a certain high value prize or something.
Okay. Yeah. The one thing that you could do is if you really wanted to be deceitful, I guess, and this is maybe the way that they did it, but one thing that you could do is like have it planned to win, have like the ticket that particularly wins a certain prize, only obtainable by a certain person or something,
I've just looked it up. on the internet. In 2000, yeah, I see. The promotion was halted after a fraud was uncovered. Subcontracting company had been hired by McDonald's to organize and promote the game. They failed to recognize a flaw. The chief of security was able to remove the most valuable game pieces, which he then passed to associates who redeemed them to share the proceeds.
Okay, yeah.
And
So that's pretty much what I was describing that you could try doing. So yeah, you know. Okay. Apparently his mic isn't working, and it worked the other week.
Jacobson's associates won almost all of the top prizes, including cash and cars, between 1995 and 2000.
Okay.
They netted over $24 million. That seems very obvious. The guy's friend keeps... All his friends are winning the lottery every time.
Yeah, it'd be like... it would be like if, you know... I'm pretty sure lottery draws are done live, right? But imagine if you... if you know, went to the lottery... imagine if you saw the lottery draw done before it was live, right? And then went ahead and got a ticket to that was the winning ticket, you know?
Yeah, I mean, this is why the lottery is live, because there's no way to keep any of this information secret unless it's instantly revealed to everyone at the same time.
Mm.
And it's not even, there's like a very slight delay due to the way TV broadcasting works, but it's essentially live for everyone.
One of the things that I have actually not really met someone. I wonder if he's actually online. Let me check. Because I know someone that did win the lottery. He doesn't appear to be online.
Like big style, like the jackpot, or
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much it was. Apparently they spent it. They spent it all though.
I've heard that a lot of lottery winners or people who win large prizes and these sort of things do tend to spend all of it.
Yeah, you gotta. What you really gotta do is you gotta win it when you're poor, and like if I were to win the lottery, not that I play the lottery, so the odds of me winning the lottery are basically 0. Okay, maybe there's like a 0.0001%, but at the moment it's 0.
I'll find a ticket somewhere.
Yeah, like there's a chance that I'll find a winning ticket or something, you know.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory style.
Yeah. But you know, it's. I'll just go. Hoi hoi.
You're typing something.
Yes, I am.
I'm just trying to fill dead air by saying things without any real plan of what I'm saying. Type faster, goddammit! Quick, high IQ typing!
You could actually see my camera shaking around in the stream. Does lottery work using discs instead of balls? Good question.
Flat Earth question.
I think it is. Yeah, this person said, I gambled once, won $20 on the pokies and never went back. On the pokies, I should probably never gamble again, right? Because here's what I did the first time. I put $5 in and got $10. The second time, I put $5 in, lost it all.
Damn it.
So
You're even.
Yeah, I'm even. As long as I don't go back on the pokies again, you know, I can say I've broken even with the pokies. Not many people can say that they've done that.
Stop there. You'll be ahead of 99% of the players.
Yeah, especially those that have, you know, I've heard of one person that won like the jackpot on the pokies, right?
Okay.
And yeah, they won the jackpot and then blew it all on the pokies. It's like, what the fuck? That's problem gambling right there.
Yeah, I was wondering what are pokies. I'm guessing it's like a... There's a
slot machines.
Like the... Yeah, slot machine. One-armed bandit thing.
Yeah. Except in New Zealand, they've got like little flashy lights, so you don't have to pull a thing. It's like, oh, let's press this little flashy light button.
The arm thing is when they used to be actually more mechanical. Nowadays, it's all just lights and buttons.
I like how I like how one person said what, like everyone's just asking what are pokies? What the fuck is a pokey? It's like it's New Zealand slang for gambling machines.
Poker machine, I think.
Yeah, poker machine.
Ah, there you go. I have to go.
Okay. In that case, it's probably I'm probably not gonna get anyone else on because you're the last man standing.
Last man standing, hooray!
All right, so unless anyone comes in within the next 5 minutes, I'm going to end the stream up. And problem gambling is a tautology. I've forgotten what that word means. I'm just going to pretend like I knew what it meant in the first place, but if someone can remind me what tautology...
Tautology is a statement that has no meaning, but sounds like it does. Like it
you see, I knew
like
that.
X equals X, kind of, basically.
Okay. So it's like saying... So gamble... Basically what he's saying is that gambling itself is a problem, and saying problem gambling... he could have just said, like, adding problem to problem gambling is redundant.
Yeah.
Well, adding the word problem in... Yeah.
I'm going to say thanks again for adding me to your videos.
No problem.
I was so confused because you asked me if it was okay, and I thought it was going to come out like a month from now.
Yeah, well, that's...
To my total surprise.
Well, you see, I'll send you a clip, right?
I've got to go like right now because my kids need to go to bed.
Yeah, but I'll send you a clip that you can watch afterwards. And this is like in a video that's not going to come out for another month. So I'll just...
cool.
So yeah, there we go. I've just got it prepared. All right, I'll see it.
All right, thanks very much. Catch you later.
Bye. One person has said in the chat, next time Jose is on, tell him this English is easier to understand than Planet Walks. Like, what? Like, what's difficult to understand about my English? I don't get it. But one thing I need to mention is that I will be doing a game stream coming up, right? And I've got a few decks that I want to... because I'm going to be playing a bit of Magic the Gathering, and I've got a few decks that I'm going to go up against Heath with. You know, I'm going to absolutely... Ahoy hoy, huge ass. And apparently he has to work on his deck, because apparently... But that's if he shows up, because apparently he might have something on, so... Hopefully I can get Heath on. And if he doesn't, then, you know... But yeah, it will be birthday stream on the 29th for most people. Okay. Dora in Chaos says, say deck and deck in a random order and have us guess. Okay. So... Dick, 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 dick. Have a guess at that. Do you play anything tabletop-wise? I mean... I sometimes play Magic the Gathering tabletop-wise, so, you know. There's mono green and a mono red. Drink a beer but shoot a beer. So, yeah, sorry. Yeah, like, so... Generally, I do play Magic online. So, MTG Arena, because I don't actually have to pay for the cards there. It's great. You know, not having to pay for cards is... You know... Like, I'm just trying to work out a way to explain it. It's like... When you... So apparently there was this guy that took out a $700 student loan. Student course-related costs, right? When he was doing a music course. And spent like $700 on Magic the Gathering cards. And it's like, holy shit. Now, I know people that have, like... They probably have millions of Magic the Gathering cards at this point. And that's why they always beat me in Magic. But, you know, now that I've got MTG Arena, I can basically choose what cards I have in my deck for free. Apparently Hugh just may have figured it out. I don't know.
Oh, there I'm here.
There we go. Ahoy, hoy.
Ahoy, hoy. Well, greetings and salutations is my greetings.
Yeah, someone mentioned Yu-Gi-Oh! In the chat when it comes to card games, which you put a lot of money into. Now, the problem with Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the amount of fake cards. That is the problem with Yu-Gi-Oh! It used to be that, you know, I was like going, and it used to be that I was going, oh, look at these cards, and like there's so many cards that were like $3 packs, and it's like, okay, this is great. And then I realized that, wait, all these cards are fake, counterfeit. That was still fun to, you know, collect them. Even if the majority of the cards that I did get were fake. That's why I like online card games, because you are guaranteed to not get any fake cards. You know? Like, it's simple. Like, that's why I play... What's that? Okay, maybe... Yeah, so cards are flat. That's it, I'm a flat earther now. You convinced me. Cards are flat, therefore the earth is flat. I'm actually going to make a tweet, which is going to be funny. I'm going to make a tweet on my 404 Globe Not Found It account and say that maps are flat, therefore the earth is flat. Because that's a stupid argument, and it's it's like me saying
the cards level.
What?
The cards level.
Yeah, it's like me saying a picture of a globe is flat, therefore globes are flat. You know, it's the same level of ridiculousness. So I'll actually. Where is my phone? I'll keep them entertained while I go grab my phone. Just, you know,
I have to keep them entertained. I've got the screen to myself. Wow, the power. So I took a picture of the sunset the other day, and it was this massive disc just above the horizon. So I just don't get this idea that it's perspective, because it's, you know, shouldn't it be getting infinitesimal as the sun sets? No, he's still getting his phone.
There we go. I got my... So I'm just going to...
I can't see the chat now. Damn it.
So now I'm just going to open up Twitter. And I'm going to switch to my 404 Globe Not Found account because even though basically it's my 404 Globe Not Found account is basically the account that I use to see what Donald Trump is up to. Like, it's like oh shit, this is like ages ago. Shit. Something about Nancy Pelosi. So, what's the most recent thing that Donald Trump said? Where is the whistleblower, and why did he or she write such a fictitious and incorrect account of my phone call with the Ukrainian president? Why did the IG allow this to happen? Who is the so-called informant, Schiff? Who was so inaccurate? A giant scam.
It's a plot to make me paranoid.
And then there's accounts like Paul on the Plane, which says the Rob Skiba collection. Where do I begin? It's like it's got like CDs. Who buys CDs about flat Earth? Anyway, let me make the tweet. The maps are flat, therefore Earth is flat. And this is just more evidence that the 404 Globe Not Found account is my account because, tweet. Because, there's people that still take it somewhat seriously. Surprisingly enough. And it's like, you do realize that it's a parody account. Well, not so much a parody account, but it shows how easy it is for someone to basically look like a flat earther, even though they're not. It's not...
Are any real flat earthers?
I don't know. Like, it's not that hard. Like, one of the points that the flat earth account really makes is how easy it is to be a flat earther. Well, not so much that. It's more of when flat earthers say, you don't understand our arguments. It's like, well, is this account a flat earth account? And if it didn't have any of the tweets which were so obvious, like one of the tweets one of the obvious tweets would be the one where it says ahoy hoy. Then yeah, you'd probably think it was a flat earth account. In fact, Jeranism thought that it was a flat earth account.
Jeranism thinks many things.
Does he though?
Well, might be stretching the definition of thing. Yeah.
But yeah,
I do love his video. You watch him, he says, "Oh, this is fake," or "That's CGI," or no evidence whatsoever. Just hands that it is, so therefore it is.
Yeah. But yeah, like it's easy to pretend to be a flat earther because they spout the same nonsense all the time.
Almost as if they got a song sheet, but I guess they watch all the same videos. So.
Yeah. I mean, if you're watching all the same videos, you're bound to say the same things, so,
Well, you could say that about us too, but we can go out and do the experiments that we see on the videos ourselves.
Yeah. Like,
and, get the same result.
I find it funny when flat earthers like that guy try to use globe earther videos as evidence for flat earth. It always makes me chuckle. And it's like, you don't understand this.
Well, he clearly doesn't understand it, but it is a bit like us using flat earth videos to prove the globe earth, like Ranty and Bob.
But the thing with flat earth videos is they need to make up excuses as to why. Like, with Ranty, it's like, this is not a globe, it's compression, it's angle of attack, it's and then Bob, it's like, heavenly energies.
Yeah, and yet if it had proved that there was no rotation, they wouldn't be saying anything like that, would they? Instead, it's extremely accurate, and therefore you've got to believe it. And then it gave them a result they didn't want, so they had to make up something to explain it.
Yeah, it's very much a case. I think I mentioned this earlier of confirmation bias. You know, they want to see something, so they, you know, even if it doesn't fit their narrative, they're like, it fits my narrative. This is how. And it's like, well, you know, we can test this.
Yeah, I mean, like I took a picture of, like I said, I mentioned about the sunset photo I took. A few minutes before that, I took another photo, and the sun looks bigger in that photo. Air filter. So I'm not quite sure what the actual size of the sun was in the second photo, or the earlier photo. So yeah, that makes me enough to doubt, but I can go and repeat the experiment with the filter and see what difference it makes.
Yeah. Like, because
so I'm happy to accept the possibility, but you know, I needed the evidence to prove it one way or the other.
Yeah, it's like,
whereas they don't.
It's like people that go, "Oh, look, the sun is clearly shrinking." It's like, okay, let's go ahead and work this out. If it's shrinking because it's going away from us, wait, why is it not shrinking all throughout the day? Why is it only shrinking when it gets close to the horizon? You know. And why
more than that, once it gets close to the horizon, it should be becoming infinitesimal, shouldn't it?
Yeah, like, well, what they say is that it's that the sun's actually shrink out of view, and it's like, okay, like there's so many photos of it actually sitting below the horizon. Is there?
Yeah, at sea level, you know, at sea, you know, you take a picture over water. And they say refraction then, I guess. Well, refraction has some effect, but it doesn't have that much effect.
Yeah.
And theoretically, if it's just perspective, then at midnight you should be able to zoom in on it, shouldn't you?
I think. I was just having a look on. I just realised I've seen a lot of things on Twitter, and it's so quite often I'll get someone tag me in a post, right? Although I'm not sure if I was tagged in this post. Sometimes hard to tell if you're tagged in a post, but yeah, sometimes you're tagged in a post, and so everyone every notification you get is from that post. You know, you get most notifications from that post. Oh, and speaking,
I just want to recognise Ugly German Truth's comment in the chat. It looked bigger in that photo. That's what she said.
I saw that. Yeah, like actually, surprisingly enough, they're actually talking about the reason why I was tagged in something. So this person says, "I love that document that MCToon made in Planet Walk and others shared. The Flares ate it up like the gullible idiots they are." And this person says, "Here's my claim to fame: 12k views on Wolfie's channel, 1k views on my own." Okay, that's interesting. But yeah. So yeah.
Has that guy done much lately? I haven't heard from him after he's been taken down a few times.
The last thing that he did, right, was he made a video that was essentially a response to my video.
Yeah.
But the response to my video was now I'm glad that he was at least trying to address the argument if he actually addressed the evidence. He didn't address the evidence though, so
what a surprise.
You know, like I presented evidence and he said, "Oh, it's why is you not got bendy compass needles?" And it's like, what? So he's like going on about compass needles not bending, and it's like, I think he just took the one part that I said about non-Euclidean geometry and then decided to run with that. Because basically what I meant, one of the things that I mentioned is non-Euclidean geometry. You can have something pointing at something even though it's not pointing directly at something. It's like me, if I were to point to Australia, technically I'm actually pointing off into space, but I'm still pointing at Australia.
Yeah, because people know what you mean.
Yeah, it's... But flat earthers seem to go... When flat earthers think in 3D, they think in really absolute terms of 3D, so,
They don't really think in 3D.
Yeah, they think, if a plane's going this way, then it should continue to fly off into space. And it's like, no, that's not how it works. There's a thing called gravity.
They don't get that of the globe as a connection of an infinite number of points, and at any one point, the gravity's pointing to the center of the Earth. A degree, 69 miles, or I'm not sure what that is in kilometers, about 100. You're at the angle of the line between you and the center of the Earth is different, but gravity has the effect. The vector is the same. Not the same, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And if you think of the whole world like that, that's how you have people upside down underneath you in the UK or wherever, being pulled at the center of the Earth too, except from the other side of the planet.
Yeah.
That too. They're flying along, but they're flying along in the reference frame of the surface of the Earth, and that point, they're over at that point. The nose, because, it's the Earth that's pulling the gravity, not something outside of the Earth. It's like pouring water on look, the water's not sticking to the ball, when Dell did that. Yeah, it's underneath it, pulling it down.
One person says it's hard to be an Aussie. Typing upside down is very tricky.
No, we're the right side up. It's the others that are upside down. They just don't realize it.
Yeah. It's like that video that I did where... Because me and Fight the Flat Earth, we've kind of got a running joke in some of our videos where we'll either look the same way or, look different.
Yes.
When...
different to what it should be, yeah.
Yeah, and for the most recent one, Fight the Flat Earth said, Planet Walk, which way is he? And I essentially had it zoom out to show me sort of upside down, and then it flipped. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think one time you looked to the left and he looked to the right, and you were looking in different directions. So.
Well, I think one time I looked to my right and he looked to his right when talking to each other. And a whole lot of people pointed that out, and I was like, that could be something interesting. So
that was the point, to make it look funny. Yeah. Oh, you see. Oh, you mean that's how it started? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's where it came from, and so I was like, that can be interesting. And it kind of just continued from there. And I think there was one time where we didn't use that in a video that we did together. But most of the times I do use it. So,
Be able to talk about other people? Mr. Sensible's just posted something.
Okay.
That all.
One thing that I just want to mention again is 29th of... Okay, technically, actually, it's the 30th of October for me, but it's the 29th of October for everyone else. It's just going to be a game stream. And, if we can get, 15 people here, that'd be brilliant. Then we can basically have our own Town of Salem lobby. If we can have 15 people join this, and I don't want to start drinking in the in the morning, even though I was thinking, I could have a few vodkas in the morning, but it's like, I'll probably leave the vodka for later.
I hope you had a vodka last week after Right the Hand.
Yeah, I did have a vodka last week after Right the Hand. I had it on stream.
That's good.
Remember? I don't know if you're there.
Well, I paid for a drink.
Yeah, well...
I didn't see you drink it, but maybe you did.
Yeah, essentially I poured like a little bit of vodka into a glass and basically had a shot.
Only a little bit. Oh, okay. After that, that dumpster fire.
Yeah, like...
Say something else.
I'm going to take a small break from Right the Hand, but that's going to be to collect a whole lot of... Because I don't know if you've seen this new channel that I've created called Right the Hand Takedown, right? And that's basically where people can go ahead and post any sort of dirt they've got on Right the Hand, and I'm going to comb through it, look for the... Because I'm particularly going to show how he's how he shouldn't be trusted, right? Now, I don't like discrediting people because of... no, I don't like discrediting people as people. I don't like doing that, but there's a point at which I think it can be done. Especially...
It was incredibly disrespectful the way he called you a little boy.
Yeah.
And you're pretty smart too, so...
What?
A grown man, a pretty smart one too.
Like...
compared to him.
Yeah, like, it's like... it's... Like, I find it really weird how people will take the fact that I look like I'm 18 or something, I don't look as old as I am, right? I know that.
I'm old.
Like, as soon as sometimes I may start looking a bit older, but as soon as I get a haircut, I'm back to looking 18. And
yes, you were a long-haired lout for a while there.
Yeah, I was. Like, you can actually go ahead and look at some of my really old videos back in 2017, and I had long hair, I had really long hair.
Did you have a beard as well?
I don't think you can really consider it a beard.
Oh, okay.
But it's essentially I didn't cut my hair in a long time, and I didn't shave in a long time, but like when I cut my hair, it's like the only person that was disappointed. There's only one person that was disappointed in me cutting my hair, and that was my ex.
Why she's your ex?
It's not. Well, this is after we had broken up. She was disappointed that I'd cut my hair, and it's just like, holy shit, you look so young. I'm like,
you were getting too old for her.
No, like, it just wasn't working out between us. And so I was like, things aren't working out, we should break up. And so, yeah, we broke up. She was highly disappointed in breaking up. But, she's doing a lot better. I'm doing a lot better. In fact, I should have broken up with her sooner. I would have started this whole Flat Earth stuff sooner. If we had broken up earlier, I would have...
Held you back from Flat Earth, eh?
Yeah, basically. Now, it can be argued that I should have stayed with her. Maybe save myself a bit of sanity. But, like, when it comes to sanity, I really have nothing to lose there in that department.
Yes, dealing with Flat Earthers. It's like what they say about insanity and your kids, it's hereditary because you get it from them.
Yeah, definitely. I'm pretty sure that my mum has lost enough sanity from me. She's just, I think it's just my sister's whittling away at what's left.
Yeah, sanity's overrated though.
Yeah, it's fun being insane.
And look at Flat Earth Aussie Jesus.
Yeah. I mean,
he's so entertaining.
I think this is the third time you said people have said his name the stream, so he's bound to show up now.
Okay, Beetlejuice.
Yeah. But I look younger than what I am. Just because I look young doesn't invalidate my points. Just because I am younger than a lot of people doesn't invalidate my points. I've heard people say, "Oh, you'll grow up and realize the truth," and it's like, well, just because I'm young doesn't mean that I don't know what I'm talking about,
It's the message, not the messenger.
Yeah.
It's very Stream pointed out that you did believe in the moon hoax at one point, and you've grown up out of that. So
yeah, it's I used to believe in 9/11 was an inside job, and as I said, there's things that I can't explain about it. I don't believe it was an inside job. But there are some things that I can't explain. But I'm not an engineer, I don't...
Yeah, and you probably had a lot of people around you saying the same thing, and you were just going with them.
Yeah, like...
a lot of people believe things just because the people around them believe them.
Yeah, like...
That's how propaganda works, really.
Yeah, like, it was my father who... Well, not my father, my stepdad who... believed the moon landing was a hoax, and that's why I believed that, because he says, America wasn't the first. America just wanted to beat the Soviets, and like when you look into it, the Soviets wouldn't have they gone ahead and exposed it. You'd think so, but
Yes. It's a bloody good.
Oh God!
Oh my God!
We summoned.
What did you say? Hey Ross, how are you, mate?
How's it going, Flat Earth Aussie Jesus? He obviously heard us talking about him, and it was some telepathic thing, and he's like, Planet Walk's talking to. Planet Walker's talking.
10 o'clock where he is, so it's time to get out of bed.
Yeah. It is nice being in Byron Bay. And it's also nice? People that don't know that you've gone to Byron Bay. And then... Now, what I'm saying is because your name was mentioned 3 times in the stream, that third time that your name was mentioned was, that's what jolted you awake.
Like Beetlejuice.
Yeah. And it's like, and that's what made you come along and watch the stream, so, But, yeah, it's funny being in Byron Bay and people don't know you've gone over to Australia, and it's like, it's nearly midnight, so I'm gonna log off, and it's like, wait, no, it's 2 a.m. But, But, yeah...
Famous is not the word I'd use.
What?
Ross is saying, I'm famous to you guys, huh? I'm not sure famous is the word I'd use.
Infamous, maybe.
Not infamous either. That implies sort of, a negative context. Sort of like, you're waiting for your favourite TV show,
Yeah, that would still kind of apply to famous. So it'd be like... It'd be like if you've got... It'd be like the shills, right? There's like one shill that I like on the shills, and that's AB Science. Be like being, where's AB Science? He's not necessarily famous, right? But,
You find him entertaining. I quite like his videos, yeah.
Yeah, like AB Science is one of my favourite shills. No disrespect to the other shills, like Jut the Drunk Monkey is also a cool fella. And
I like seeing the NASA agent too.
Oh yeah, like the NASA agent, I wouldn't say that he's famous because, if he was famous, he'd have a lot more subscribers. Like, just because I show up on Simon Dan's channel doesn't mean that I'm famous.
Does the NASA agent have his own channel?
Yeah. Wolf Brothers Cinema.
I didn't know. Sorry, what was that?
It's Wolf Brothers Cinema.
Okay.
One of the things that Flat Earth Aussie Jesus is going to be disappointed about is that I've got Jesus that's going to be appearing on not my channel, but someone else's channel.
Yes, you showed me that.
Yeah.
I wonder where God goes on holiday.
What?
I wonder where God goes on holiday.
Yeah, well, when Karen's around, Karen's asking for the manager of the universe.
It's a bit like living in Queensland. I mean, where else when you already live in heaven,
Queensland is is a northern part of Australia, northeast, right?
Northern quarter, basically.
Yeah. So I think I was in New South Wales when I was over there.
Yes, a great place. New South Wales is a great place to live if you happen to be a bacteria. Maybe that's just Sydney. The rest of it's not.
I was, as I said, I was in Byron Bay, and I did go to Lismore, which I actually saw on Friendly Geordie's. There was a thing where he was talking about Lismore, and it's like I was able to show someone that I know that lives in Lismore. And they're like, yeah, it sounds pretty accurate. It was probably the mayor of Lismore that that did that.
Lismore's sort of the place that people from Nimbin go if they have a job.
I don't know what the other place that you mentioned was, but I can imagine that as well.
Well, Byron Bay's got I guess, but Nimbin is where they get their drugs from. So
yeah, Byron Bay.
Go to Nimbin. Sorry.
I'm pretty sure you can just walk up to anyone in Byron Bay and get LSD off them, or mushrooms.
Yeah, you wonder what the police force are doing.
I'm pretty sure the police force over there are not arresting people that have LSD or. I'm pretty sure the police force over in Byron Bay are stoned as well. So
Yeah, so that's probably that's my hypothesis.
Yeah. And yeah, Flat Earth Aussie Jesus says I'll be going to Lismore soon. Maybe Nimbin to get an ounce. I wonder if Flat Earth Aussie Jesus was the guy that Friendly Geordies was talking about. I wonder if Flat Earth Aussie Jesus knows the guy that Friendly Geordies was talking about on his channel. Nah.
I thought getting an ounce is a crime in New South Wales. I wouldn't be advertising that on the internet personally. But it hasn't said an ounce of water, I guess. It could be an ounce of water.
Could be an ounce of gold. I kind of doubt that it's an ounce of gold, but I mean, what would you even do with an ounce of gold? But yeah, Friendly Geordies is a YouTuber who is also a comedian and does shows. Green gold, lol. I mean, you still ambiguous, so you can't be prosecuted yet. It could be.
Yes. Yeah.
Could be.
And he hasn't done it yet.
Yeah. Could be joking. He could be getting green gold. Could be $20 note or something. I don't know if the $20 notes are green over in Australia.
They're red.
They're red.
Rock lobsters, they call them.
What notes are the green? Are the green notes?
The $100 notes.
$100 notes. Yeah, so it could be going to get $100 note. Maybe he has a mate who owes him a $100 note.
I'm not quite sure what Ross is talking about, a redback, because that could mean two things. It could be this awesome wheat beer, or it could be this awesome chili sauce.
He says the Hundred. I think he's talking about how $20 note is redback. Over there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Lobster's the way I call them, so yeah. The old grey nurse 100, yeah. Because when they change over to plastic, the paper ones were grey because it had Mawson on it from the Antarctic, so looking like snow, I guess.
Okay.
But now they've changed over to make it green.
Pineapple is a 50.
Oh, a 50s in avocado.
You see, now I don't know what what you Australians are going on about. All I know is that your $2 coins are smaller than your $1 coins for some strange reason. It confuses New Zealanders when we go over there.
The $1 coin came first.
Yeah, but
came first in 1984, and they didn't plan ahead. So when the $2 came out, they said, "Well, we can't make it bigger because the size of the 50-cent coin, so we have to go smaller."
Yeah, but first off, your 50-cent coin is has like straight edges, so that would be a good way to identify them apart. Second off, you could make it thicker or something, I guess. But haven't you ever changed the looks of your coins?
Not since 1988.
I mean, okay, I will be fair. New Zealand hasn't changed the look of their $1 and $2 coins in a while, but we did change our small coins. But hey, maybe when
I'll be surprised that if in 10 years we still have coins. It's
fair.
My pocket just fills up with them, and I just sort of put them in a jar.
Yeah, but I think that probably you'll change your coins and adopt a normal coin system when the Queen ends up. When the Queen changes to whatever is next in line,
Well, like I said, they'll probably get rid of coins altogether and just start with $5 notes, I guess.
Yeah, possibly. I don't see them getting rid of coins like that quite so soon, because coins do have their advantage, but I think because why would they? Here's the thing: why would they have coins? Why would they have coins if notes are better?
Well, because of back in the day when $1 was worth a lot more than it is now. Coins have started, but everyone pays electronically now, so we don't really need to a large extent, except because the FPOS machines wouldn't work. Also, society would come tumbling down with a power outage.
Bill Baggins says $2 coins come in many varieties and 20 cents and even more. I've got a whole lot of $1 coins from Australia. All the different little designs that you have. I've got a few interesting New Zealand coins. I think I've got a 50-cent piece which has like an Anzac thing on it. I remember there was a Doctor Who coin. What's that?
We used to have 2 and 1 cent coins. We got rid of those in 1984 too, I think it was. And they've been talking about getting rid of the 5 cent coin for ages, but no one really uses them.
Well,
spending machines, but you can use those with a card as well.
In
your phone.
In New Zealand here, we've gotten rid of the 5 cent coin. You can't. And quite often you'll see 10 cents on the ground, right? And you'll be like, oh, it's a 10 cent coin, but no, it's actually just a rusty old 5 cent coin. Because we changed our currency. Our 10 cent coins got a different look. Our 20 cent coins and 50 cent coins. Well, the 10 cent coins actually became smaller as well, but the 50 and 20 cent coins became smaller. And so, yeah. And the 20 cent coins also now have ridges, or these little ridges around the edge. It's going all fancy, like you do in Australia with your 50 cent coins having straight edges.
Bill Baggins, 5-cent coins are really useful. They keep jars from floating away. That's about right.
Honestly, I do see the use.
Dancing,
I do see the use in coins, right? Because having gone busking, people having coins is good. Because, unless you want me to invest in an ATM machine, oh, not an ATM, but basically super chats for busking, kind of style. Although that would be an interesting way to adapt. And yeah, as later Aussie Jesus says, they keep the Westpac rescue helicopter aloft. So it's.
Is that possible? They make it more dense. It didn't sink.
Well, what he's talking about is that yeah, it's like really good for donations. If possible, buskers is a thing now. Really, I've never seen. I should invest in that. Maybe I might make a bit more money when people say, "Oh, I don't have any coins on me." It's like, I've got an FPOS machine. Donate.
Patreon too.
Oh yeah. Maybe I should just do that. Just be like busking. Be like, you want to see me come back? Donate to my Patreon. But actually, I kind of use my Patreon as a way to not have to busk, because it's busking. One thing that's great about what I do, like these live streams, is technically I don't have to do these live streams, but they're fun. I've had a great conversation today, but it's also done within the comfort of my own room. Now, if I was in Byron Bay or something where you always have the sunshine, then...
Except when it rains.
What?
Except when it rains, of course.
Yeah, like, when I was over there in the winter, there's only 2 days that I recall it raining.
Summertime's different.
Oh, really?
That's when... Because it's tropical, basically, or subtropical, and you get the afternoon thunderstorms coming through.
Okay. So you really are upside down land. Because you got, like...
No different climate.
Yeah, upside down climate.
How do you know you're not the upside down one? Problem is, you've got all those mountains in the way of the weather coming from the west.
Yeah.
You on the South Island or North Island?
South Island.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway,
So
I'm
not a Jaffa then.
No, I'm not a Jaffa. That's good to know that Australians know what Jaffas are.
It's because there's so many Kiwis over here. They tell us.
Yeah, like if you,
it's almost like the last person out in New Zealand. Please turn off the lights.
Well, essentially from what I've heard, the Gold Coast is like a colony of New Zealand.
Pretty much. And Bondi and Sydney.
Oh, really?
Strange. Perth is full of Kiwis and South Africans.
Okay. Because I know that, because we had a show over in New Zealand called the GC. And no, it doesn't. It doesn't mean the good count. It means the Gold Coast.
It's like Miami for Australia.
Yeah.
Call Miami on the Gold.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm going to end
used to be an ice manufacturer called Miami Ice.
I'm going to end up the stream now because I'm actually getting a bit hungry. So,
it's almost lunchtime.
Yeah, I'm going to cook up some Riley and... Yeah, I'll probably just cook up some Riley and have, make an omelette. So,
Okay.
The reason why I say cook up some
Was that
Riley...
a euphemism? I'm not sure what you mean by Riley.
An egg.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. because you can. or I might get some fish and chips, But as you probably heard, that fish and chops.
Fish and chops, 69 fish and chops plus.
Yeah.
Eggs. Why is it called Riley? I don't get that.
The reason why is because he's got this. This is an egg.
Oh, now I get you.
Yeah.
I thought you meant it was like a brand name.
No, it's talking about Anthony Riley.
Yes, yeah. That's what I thought at first, but then you sort of... way my brain works isn't of interest.
Yeah. But anyway, make sure you join the stream on the 30th for 30th if you're in Australia or New Zealand, or the 29th if you're anywhere else in the world. Because I will be playing, hopefully. Now I can't promise anything, but I'll hopefully be having a few games of Magic: The Gathering against Heath, and hopefully that will be mine and Heath's battle to the death. So there's that, and then I'll probably have a few games with everyone else because it'll be my birthday, and it'll be fun times.
All right. Yeah, what a way to celebrate.
Yeah, having stream with everyone in my audience, and
so that's Wednesday.
Yeah,
our time.
Yeah, Wednesday. So
Tuesday up.
Probably start at 7 a.m. But as I said, 7 a.m. in Australian time, 9 a.m. in New Zealand time, or 8 p.m. UTC. Because that helps. Because I like using UTC. So yeah.
UTC's better if you've got a worldwide audience.
Yeah, definitely. Because it's like
whatever.
Because trying to translate to PST and working out all the daylight savings times, it's a nightmare. So it's like, okay, I'm doing things at UTC this time. This time UTC.
Yeah.
Work it out for yourself.
It is Tuesday UTC.
Yeah. But anyway, I will see everyone in the next stream. Between you and me, thank you for watching. Wait, do you have any ideas for songs that I can play? Or just give me a band and I'll see if I know anything by them. I had Queen at the start.
Kennedy's.
Did Kennedy's. I don't actually know anything by them, but I should learn Holiday in Cambodia. It's a holiday in Cambodia.
Told me to skin you alive.
Chemtrails on Earth, chemtrails on Venus that come out of a plane. Out of my penis, we got chemtrails on Earth, chemtrails on Venus that come out of a plane. Out of my penis, yeah. Thought it was on topic for this stream, so bye.